experienced quality solar. It's MRE. Call 632-2613. MRE, the smarter choice.
Teachers protesting instead of teaching for a second day in Oklahoma.
Where are my teachers in the house?
Thousands of teachers and union-backed supporters at the state capitol in Oklahoma City are demanding $200 million in additional funding.
Are we here for us or our kids?
Teachers recently got a $6,000 raise but want more. Kentucky teachers are back to class after protesting changes to the state's bankrupt pension plan. And now teachers in Arizona are considering a strike over their demands for a 20% salary increase. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
Russian officials throwing more cold water on allegations that the Kremlin is behind the poisoning of a former Russian spy in Britain. The head of the chemical lab for Russia's defense ministry says the nerve agent used could have been made anywhere in the world. President Putin echoing that as he visits Turkey, questioning how quickly Russia was blamed, also demanding a full investigation. 6 more jurors picked today for Bill Cosby's sexual assault retrial in Pennsylvania.
Only one juror had been seated after the first day of processing the jury pool. Many of the members picked today say although they have seen media accounts of the allegations against the entertainer, they tell the judge they have not formed an opinion of Cosby's guilt or innocence. Cosby faces this retrial on charges he drugged and molested former Temple University employee Andrea Constand in 2004. Last year, a jury picked from outside the Philadelphia area deadlocked on the charges. Judge Stephen O'Neill plans to seat 12 jurors and 6 alternates. Opening arguments are set for next Monday. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
Recapping the rally on Wall Street, the Dow back over 24K, up 389. The NASDAQ and the S&P also gaining more than 1%. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News Radio.
Hey, it's your stomach again. Subway has all new signature wraps, and around the water cooler, the other stomachs can't stop talking about them. Chipotle Southwest steak and cheese, turkey, bacon, and guac, rotisserie-style chicken Caesar signature wraps. Listen, if I'm honest, as a talking stomach, I don't have a lot of life experience. But I do know one thing. These signature wraps are jam-packed with meat. So what are you waiting for? I'm growling over here. Subway, make it what you want.
When the power goes out on Guam, the little things can become surprisingly big. Small comforts are often the things we miss most during a power outage. That is why Kohler built the fastest responding generator sets in the industry. Whether you are at home or away, a residential Kohler generator will enable you and your family to live life without interruption. Kohler gas, LPG, and diesel power systems are available from Morrico Equipment, LLC on EPAL Road. Call 649-1946. That's 649-1946. Don't forget to click on to MorricoEquipment.com.
Come out for the 4th annual Chucky Run and Fun 5K, 2K, and Flyaway giveaway. Join us Saturday, April 14th at Chuck E. Cheese's Guam. Show at 5:30 and go at 6 a.m. T-shirts, medals, and other cool prizes, refreshments, and indoor activities after the races. Grand prize drawing for all participants is a trip package for 2 to Manila. Register at Chuck E. Cheese's Guam. $8 for students, $12 for adults, and Group of 4 Super Saver for just $35. The 4th annual Chuck E. Run and Fun 5K, 2K, and Flyaway giveaway. See you there.
For over 55 years, Community First has served our island as a full-service financial institution. And now, we're proud to introduce the new Community First Student-Run Credit Union, open in Manila on Route 10, Guam's first student-run financial institution, which means it's operated by college students like us, ready to serve all our members, existing and new. We're just down the road from UOG and GCC. Community First Guam Federal Credit Union, now open in Manila. This credit union is federally insured by NCUA. Chili's lunch combos for just $10. Start your lunch with your choice of a Bud Light, iced tea, or Coca-Cola. Plus, free bottomless chips with salsa. Then choose a variety of fresh entree options like our savory beef enchiladas, quesadilla explosion salad, or our Cajun chicken pasta. Experience fresh flavors in every bite with Chili's lunch combos for just $10. Available Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. At Chili's, fresh is happening now.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 8 minutes past 6 a.m. this Wednesday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. The death of an airman who was found lifeless in his temporary quarters on Andersen Air Force Base last week Tuesday has been ruled a homicide. An autopsy performed at Naval Hospital on Friday revealed that Airman Hale's neck had been slashed multiple times, according to Chief Medical Examiner Dr. Aurelio Espinola. Espinola did not conduct the autopsy, but he said he received the autopsy report that determined that Airman First Class Bradley Hale sustained 3 cuts to his neck that resulted in him losing a considerable amount of blood. The autopsy was performed by an Air Force forensic pathologist who flew down to Guam from Kadena Air Force Base in Okinawa. Hale was on temporary assignment to Guam as part of a rotational deployment from Barksdale Air Force Base in Louisiana. He was originally from Texas. The Air Force Office of Special Investigations has confirmed that an individual is in custody in connection with Hale's death. They have yet to say, however, whether that person has been charged. Tourism arrival numbers expected to fall 7.8% to 1.44 million by the end of this fiscal year on September 30th. During yesterday's special economic service meeting at the legislature, Nico Fujikawa, acting director of tourism research at the Guam Visitors Bureau, announced that the projection, saying it's based on market trends and seat capacity. If the projection holds true, it would be about 100,000 fewer visitors than 2017's all-time record-breaking year for arrivals. Fujikawa also pointed out that as of March 28th, arrivals in the month were down 5.4% compared to March of last year. He said March is usually the peak season along with August. However, he also noted that there has been some progress in Japanese arrivals. For the first time in some months, Japanese arrivals in March outpaced Korean arrivals. He explained that is due largely to over 40 charter flights in March from Japan. We'll have more news after this.
Ready to buy real estate on Guam? Congratulations! But what now? There's so many questions, so many things to do. Where do you start? The best place to start is to call Century 21 Commonwealth Realty, Guam's biggest name in real estate. They aren't the best because they're the biggest. They're the biggest because they're the best. Trust the name. Find out why. Call Century 21 Commonwealth Realty today. 888-2121. Trust the best.
This time, let's hear it from the first KFC female colonel.
Smoky Mountain Barbecue, fried chicken so crispy and sweet. That crispy fried chicken. All right, stop. I can't do this. I thought if I dressed up like a country music legend, it would help KFC sell my delicious new Smoky Mountain Barbecue.
KFC, it's finger-licking good.
News time at the point is 11 minutes past 6 a.m. 2 weeks before he was scheduled to go to trial, Joseph Pangilinan has signed a plea agreement admitting to receiving child pornography. According to court documents, Pangilinan admitted he used a computer and other devices to connect to internet service at his Manilao residence and used BitTorrent software to knowingly download thousands of images of child pornography. Pangilinan was arrested following an investigation by Homeland Security special agents who observed a computer with an internet service provider address on Guam had downloaded and received child pornography. Jury trial was scheduled to begin April 19th, but Pangilinan signed the plea agreement yesterday. He's scheduled to make his formal guilty plea before a judge in district court today. The Department of Agriculture has submitted a corrective action plan in response to a critical federal audit released last week by the U.S. Department of the Interior's Office of Inspector General. Matthew Sablan, director of the Guam Department of Agriculture, told the Guam Daily Post he's waiting for the Inspector General to approve and respond to the plan that he submitted. The auditors noted that of the $7.2 million in grants received by the department between October 2014 and September 2016, only $4.5 million had been claimed by the Division of Aquatic and Wildlife Resources, the beneficiary of those grants. Acting chief of that division, Tino Uggan, telling the Post that there's always an amount that isn't obligated. He said funds are sometimes held in reserve to cover future projects. In other cases, he said there are expenses that have not yet been processed. Both Sablan and Uggan said most of the unclaimed funds are still available for use. They said most of the grants have not expired. However, they were not able to say just how much of the funding was still available for use. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. right now with some weather.
Well, thank you very much. Partly cloudy skies and isolated showers. There's northeast winds up to about 20 miles an hour today, decreasing 10 to 15 miles an hour tonight. Highs about 88 degrees. Overnight lows about 76 degrees. When I got in the car, the thermometer on the dashboard said 77.
It was nice. It was nice this morning.
Yeah. So not bad at all. Quiet forecast for the next few days. Northeast winds veering to easterly trades by tomorrow. More moisture will mean mostly cloudy skies tomorrow through Saturday. But for now, showers are forecast to remain isolated. There's still a high surf advisory in effect along north-facing reefs until noon on Friday. Surf 8 to 10 feet, falling 7 to 9 feet by tonight. But that's still very, very rough out there. So enjoy the view from the shores in the car. We normally do sunrise and sunset, etc. But Mike has decided that we're going to be adding a couple of things this morning. The almanac, Mars and Saturn are in conjunction.
Yeah, that means they're very close together, apparently in the sky. Now, you can't see it right now because it's daylight setting in. So, but if you go out, say about 5 tomorrow morning, look up in the sky, just basically overhead, you'll see these two bright objects very close together. One of them decidedly redder than the other. There you go. That's Mars and Saturn.
I was thinking bright objects. He's talking about us on this side of the glass, Kev. That's what that is. Moon and Jupiter also in conjunction.
That one's easy to see. You can actually see that one.
Look at the moon. Moon has been just terrific. I was talking with Emmy, who just came back from Okinawa, and we were talking about how great the moon was looking here, and she says, it looked good in Okinawa, too. I said, it's the same moon. That's why. That's why I did that. Sunset tonight at 6:32. The sun rises in just 2 minutes. It should break the plane in just a couple of minutes. And I was, because you put in the almanac information for the moon and the stars, I thought what I'd do is check out a different kind of almanac online, Farmer's Almanac, things like that. So today's the day that you're going to want to plant your soybeans and corn.
There we go.
So go ahead and start digging some holes in the yard, throw in some corn. Just open the can and throw that into the ground, and you'll be all right. It's 6:14. That's news and weather together here on The Point, brought to you by
the stations of Choice Broadcasting are celebrating April 2018 as National Earth Month in the first ever Upcycle Mascot Showdown. We've invited the public elementary 5th grade classes to set the example and build their school mascots completely out of recyclable material. Come down to the Chamorro Village Festival Huts on April 21st from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. for upcycle-themed games, chances to win prizes, and a special performance from Body Arts Dance Studio. Don't forget to stop by the Guam Girl Scouts booth to learn how you can make a cleaner, greener effort in your community. Support your school's mascot and be sure to vote for your favorite. Judges pick the first place winner. The public votes for the second place winner. Celebrate Earth Month with our students in the Upcycle Mascot Showdown. Brought to you by Leo Palace Resort Guam, Dr. Yang Dental, Denny's of Guam, Jams Media Productions, and The Point.
Hey, I was going to say the news and weather together brought to you by Bank Pacific, where some put branches, they place roots. And you know where they got a roots? They have a roots at the ATM at the 76 over on Marine Drive, the Airport 76 that they've got right there. You go in there, you need some extra dough because you want to buy the toenail clippers that they have there. It's the best toenail clippers on Guam you can find at 76 Circle K. But if you need some cash to do it, that's the Bank Pacific Roots ATM that they have there. Time for a Cold Stone break, kids. It's ice cream for breakfast, courtesy of your Uncle Ray. Try the new strawberry shortcake and fresh lemon pie ice cream. Mix them with your favorite fruits, nuts, candies, or even the golden Oreo cookies. They're better than any other Oreo cookie. That's right. You put them side by side at the grocery store, and all of the other Oreo cookies feel bad and run away because they can't stand to be in the presence of the golden Oreo cookies. They taste so good. Cold Stone Creamery at the Guam Premier Outlet and Micronesia Mall.
Don't wait another day and waste another dollar. You can start saving today. At Guahan Insurance Services, we are here to help protect your investment and save you money. We offer insurance advising for business, car, and home insurance. So come and visit us at our new office at Camacho Landmark Center at Marine Corps Drive in Timoning, and let us show you that you can count on us for all your insurance needs. Call 475-1162.
Hey, you gonna buy something? Buy a house. It's a good investment. Don't know how to buy a house? Make that investment? You know what? Start by looking at the real estate MLS listings. And then when you've decided on something, make sure the next phone call is to Security Title, and they will answer all your questions. Even complex things. You want to buy a golf course like my friend Kevin Kerrigan did? I'll bet they went through Security Title for that.
When did I do that?
Because it's a complex real estate transaction, and that's what they do at Security Title.
Relax, enjoy, and be greeted by the spectacular view of Hagåtña Bay when you visit the point at the Sheraton Laguna Guam. Gaze into the beautiful sunset as you unwind to the music of Philip Garcia and Natasha on Wednesdays, Mama Shar and Nina on Thursdays, Philip Garcia and Louise Munia on Fridays, and Jack Larimer on Saturdays. Open daily from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. Happy hour from 5 to 8 p.m. with all cocktail drinks for $7. Receive a discount when you present your SPG card. Call Peter Yaban at 646-2222 for reservations at the point at the Sheraton Laguna Guam Resort.
The Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
That's right, friends. That's what the old Farmer's Almanac says. Go ahead, plant your corn, plant your soy, plant your beans. Get those things in the ground. Springtime. Actually, it's
What's the
spring on
date of our
harvest.
last freeze?
The last freeze we had on Guam, I couldn't tell you. I'm sorry. When I see almanac, that's one of the things that I look at. Anyway, so I made a comment in the Security Title ad about buying a golf course, and there was a story. I'm surprised it's not #1 story in our headlines this morning there, Kevin Kerrigan. Ken Corp begins improvements at CCP. Oh, wait a second. You guys aren't Ken Corp. You're Cortec.
Yeah, how about that?
Oh, what's different then?
No more surprise.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, okay. Then that's what it is.
A lot of other big news, though.
Yeah, we'll get around to that. But I think this is a big story. Ken Corp getting their hands
Sure
on
is.
CCP.
Yeah.
And Ben Ferguson. I guess they're going to make it the golf extension of PIC. And Ben Ferguson is going to be running the place. I think that's going to look good.
You play golf?
No, not at all. But see, I'm disappointed now that it wasn't Cortec.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to make a big thing about Cortec being like the Acme company on Guam. What do you got? Cortec will sell it. They've got it. They'll sell it to you. No problem. You want newspaper? We got newspaper. You want apartment buildings? We got apartment buildings. We can do all of that stuff. And it would have been cool if he said golf course. Yeah, we got that too. But you never know. you never know. Might want to go shopping at some point today. But yeah, there are a ton of stories that we can play around with this morning, and there's another one. I'm going to see now. I'm going to look at this, double check, make sure I'm getting it right here. GCC events this week. I got this email from my friend Jane Flores over at GCC, and I got to tell you, Jane, for as many years as you were in the media, you buried the lead on this, hon. You buried the lead. Says GCC events this week include Sexual Assault Awareness Proclamation today, Accommodative Services Dialogue on the April the 4th, and Reach for College Info Session on April the 5th. But the real big deal in this email here is culinary buffet.
Oh, well, see?
Hello. Hey, this is easy way to get cheap journalists to pay attention to what's going on. On Thursday, the Culinary Arts Japanese Buffet. I've been to this. I have been to this over at GCC, and it is awesome. And I'm surprised that they have to tell people about it. I figured by this time, a couple of years down the road since they've been doing this, I figured by this time they wouldn't publicize it because the place is going to be just jam-packed anyway. Right. Paul Kerner, the Pacific and Asian cuisine course, will present their Japanese buffet Thursday, 11 to 12:30. It's $10, all you can eat, consisting of mouth-watering dishes created by very talented students under the watchful eyes, of course, of Chef Paul and Chef Bertrand Harion. All of the April buffets take place Thursdays. This one here, the Japanese one, on April the 5th. And the 12th is going to be Chinese. The 19th is going to be Korean. And the 26th is going to be Thai and Vietnamese, right? And then Thursday, May 3rd, there's a little bit of a foreshadowing into May with the May harvest with the Department of Agriculture. Students use local produce and items in their dishes, showcasing the variety of delicious items grown or produced on our beautiful island. And now the only addition to this that I wanted to make was I believe that this time they're going to be using the Iron Chef rules.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So whoever the losing team is has to leave town.
Oy.
Yeah.
Oy.
No, sorry, no job for you. You
on
gotta
a
go.
rowboat if it's Iron Chef.
So, There's that. So April the 5th. That's Thursday, culinary buffet feature, or is it culinary? Wait, my daughter and I have an argument about this all the time. Is it culinary or culinary?
Potato, potato.
Yeah, you sure?
Much, yeah.
Okay.
Tomato, tomato.
Well, I have a desire to be right. So I just want to be able to say. I just want to be able to say. You know, Miami. I asked Kevin Kerrigan about it, and he said it's culinary, not culinary. We'll get one of the guys on. Yeah, what do we know? What do we know? Just radio people. That's all we are. Anyway, so there's a whole bunch going on. I want to say good morning, as I usually do at this time, to all of the folks that are gathered up on the Facebook chat. There's Cousin Tommy and Jimmy Martinez. James Howard up early is Elizabeth Fuerza. Levon is there, and Paris Mendiola Blas is up and chewing on the stories with us this morning. That's nice. Jose Martinez. I see. Oh, Richard Yu. I know that guy. He says, good morning, Ray Gibson. Don't forget, Richard, we've got Kevin Kerrigan and Michael Knight here as well. Greg Massey at the Department of Labor. Crystal Schnabel, good morning. Nice to see you there. Yeah, did you want to chime in?
I just wanted to say that either pronunciation is correct of culinary or culinary.
Huh.
In Texas, we say culinary.
Yeah, well, you say insurance, too.
No, we say a lot of weird things, come to think of it.
It's just where you want to put
stuff like y'all.
The emphasis. No, it's y'all and might could.
Might could and fixin'.
Might could.
I'm fixing to do something here.
Can you change tense on might could? Might could have?
I guess that's perfectly fine, man. Yeah, it's just, in Texas, it's just as long as they can understand you, more or less.
We gotta get around to doing some actual news here. Hold on a second. This is weird. It's like I'm looking at. I've got it up on the computer, the Facebook thing, but I've also got it on my phone as well. And I'm looking at all kinds of people coming in here. Guam Menu, nice to see you there, and Rita Hugo and Lee Stolley. Perfect. Great way to start off the morning. A little bit of coffee here. And as I said, chewing on some of the big stories that we've got going on. Pardon me if I'm a little bit distracted. It's just the way I write my notes out. I don't put them in any kind of serious order. So it'll always feel like I'm kind of jumping around from point to point before we get into the headlines. And I've actually got my brain together. The SES meeting yesterday looked like some interesting things that came out of it, up to and including the idea that as much as everybody has been talking about, hey, we ought to think about this amnesty thing going back to early February when we first restarted the show here on The Point. We were talking about leakage in the government and, hey, let's do this amnesty thing and see if we can get some money in there. And they still haven't gotten to the point where they're ready to call an amnesty after all of this time. And with apparent need in the government of Guam for whatever monies that might be available, where somebody might need a gentle nudge to bring it in. Hey, you owe us some tax money. Okay, I got it. But the interest and the penalties are really going to sting. And then the governor says, no, it's okay. Because it's amnesty, we're just bring the money and we won't bother you about the interest of the penalties here. We'll be okay. We'll look the other way as you write that check, as long as you get back, as long as you, it's what we used to call in the business, come to Jesus. Just come in and let us embrace you into the bosom of the government of Guam. You've been away from our light. Now come back and right? We just want your money. That's all we want. We're not interested in prosecuting you or dragging your name through the mud, but maybe after. And so they haven't gotten around to doing any of that stuff. It makes me kind of crazy because now I have to pay an additional % in the business privilege tax, even though there's people out there that are still owing the government of Guam some dough and haven't paid it. Maybe there's other reasons for it. I don't know. We'll see what we can find out. BJ Cruz did ask the question that came up in the conversation that we had with him yesterday, because I was curious about the savings that had been reported when they closed down the fire station. They said we saved $400,000 in overtime in just 23 days, and I thought that was an interesting number.
He didn't buy that.
He didn't. No. We talked for a little bit about 9 o'clock yesterday morning, and he said that was an interesting number to him too. And so he brought it up over at the SES. Now, did they get an answer? I didn't watch it.
No,
I didn't watch the thing.
There was no answer. Just an admonishment.
Oh, that's all.
Yeah.
He didn't stick around for the answer. I would have done one of those.
No,
Well, what do you say for yourselves? What do you have to say? Where did the number come from? And, you know, if it's only $40,000 and somebody added another, if it's wrong, it's okay. Just say so.
He said, make sure that they clear all the numbers so that zeros don't get added, so that it looks good.
And that's what I'm kind of curious about. I'm a born skeptic. I like to question authority. I've learned it from my kids, and so I'm just saying it's an interesting number to come up with. And if it was $400,000 over the course of 23 days, if you annualize that, the number is $6.3 million. That's overtime savings. We shouldn't be spending money on overtime anyway. So I'm just saying, whatever the mechanism was, because it couldn't have been that they let guys go or let them off because they were still working, right?
Right.
It's just that the place they were working at was closed. So how they got to this miraculous, now play that sound, $400,000 worth of savings in 23 days. How we got to figure out what they did so that we can do that virtually everywhere else in the government of Guam. So
add zeros.
Smart Alec. Wait a second. Tumwater.
I moved it. I rearranged everything yesterday, and now I have to re-find it all.
Be easier to get to. You know, we don't do the sound effects thing all morning long, but you know, just every once in a while, it's nice to have a code word. Yes, that'll be our safe word, Tumwater. And then roll up a sound effect. Okay, so they had the SES meeting, and so we're not going to be doing the amnesty until somebody figures out how to spell it, and then we'll get all of the names together and what it's going to end up being. Now, I'm not saying that amnesty is going to be the big deal. Somebody has reported as saying that the amnesty may bring in as much as $20 million. Well, it was able to collect about $20 million out of $100 million in owed taxes when they did this last in 2007.
And BJ at the end of that session yesterday said that he was told in just 60 days, if they waive the interest and fees, pay the principal, people could make a payment plan, go down to the bank, borrow the money to pay that off because the interest would be less than the penalties.
Sure.
Tax amnesty figures could be about $20 million, he said.
Okay, so there's a Klitsky thing in there. I just want to show me. I'd like to see some of the numbers. But I agree that there's millions of dollars out there. I'd love to see $20 million. And on top of, I suppose, some of the other things that are going on. But I don't know, just not holding out so much hope because we haven't had the conversation yet. Until this morning. So maybe there's going to be some kind of button that gets pushed somewhere. To collect this money. Maybe some other amnesties that could be going. Maybe GMH ought to do some kind of an amnesty as well for some of the deadbeat payers that they've got over there. There was a little bit of a flap over the unspent federal dough here, and if I get motivated a little bit later on in the program, maybe I'll play, and I love doing this because this is raw journalism as you hear it. Kevin Kerrigan has got a gizmo that allows him to talk to somebody over the phone, and we record those, and Kevin will send me from time to time those conversations. So I thought maybe we'd see if we can get to ground on this unspent federal dollars things. There was paperwork that came out earlier in the year. Preliminary numbers is what I guess Adelup is saying that at the time looked like $30 million worth of unspent federal dough, right?
Right, but remember there's two separate stories here, essentially. Yes. One was a report given in Honolulu by the former DOA director in December.
What a great junket that must have been.
$31 million was the report unspent federal funds. The other was the Inspector General's report
on the Department of Agriculture.
Completely separate.
Okay, but together in that there were questions
money
of
left on the
unspent federal
table.
money, yes. And so the answer to the question I spoke with him, and you spoke with him as well, Matt from over at the Department of Agriculture. And he said, yeah, there was $7 million, and now as of the conversations yesterday, they've managed to spend $4 million of that.
He said that the money that is unspent is still available. Most of it, at least most of it, is still available.
Yeah.
future projects. So.
Right. So there's a couple of $1 million. It's not as though they have to return everything. There are extensions that have been granted for that. So there are still some federal dollars that are available, and it's an interesting story. And a question that I got from somebody yesterday was, who's in charge of the clearinghouse on all of these federal funds? And it would seem to me, last I checked, I think it's the Lieutenant Governor's office. It might be Ray Tenori. I'm not 1,000% sure. It's been a while. They might have changed things and moved them around. Another conversation that came out of the SES is the conversation about tourism and the idea that we might have to deal with, 100,000 less tourists on Guam?
Off of last year's record-breaking year, yeah.
Oh, that's great. There's all kinds of extra parking down there now. And we can go stay in hotel rooms whenever we want. The prices will come down for the locals.
I'm sure.
Trying to find the silver lining in the crowd.
Well, how many visitors we have last year?
1.5?
Yep.
Yeah.
1.5 million?
That's just a blip.
And I think it's going to be, they're talking about 1.4, and so what they're doing is they're looking at the number of airplane seats that we're pretty sure we're going to have between now and the end of the calendar, and based on that, is that's where they come up with a number. A couple of other trends that they're looking at, but I'm not totally surprised by that. I got a couple of friends in the hospitality industry, and they're gritting their teeth over what they have already been through in this new year and late last year, and bracing themselves for another, what's the word we used in the story? Bumpy, in the front page of the Daily Post, a bumpy rest of the year. So we've got to be better at this. We got to be better at the game. And I'll tell you how I tried to be better at the game, because I am the teacher's pet and I'm everybody's favorite student and radio talk show guy. So I'm going to tell you what I did to try to make our hospitality experience better yesterday afternoon. But I can't do it now because it's already late for the headlines. 6:33 or so in time for headlines from the Guam Daily Post. Here's Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day, good morning, Guam. In the headlines from the Daily Post this morning, Speaker Benjamin Cruz questioning the accuracy of the Calvo administration's claim that $400,000 was saved by the 23-day closure of 2 fire stations. During the special economic service meeting at the legislature yesterday, he said somebody stepped on something in trying to inflate the numbers to justify the closure. He admonished the governor's fiscal team, telling them to make sure that they clear all the numbers so that zeros don't get added so that it looks good. The speaker said it just undermines your entire credibility. United Airlines announcing an exception to its suspended PetSafe pet transport program to allow military members and State Department officials on Guam to ship their pets off island through the end of this month. According to a posting on the airline's website effective yesterday, April 3rd, United is allowing an exception to its suspension of new PetSafe reservations for members of the military and their spouses, and State Department Foreign Service personnel and their spouses who wish to travel with or ship their pets off Guam between April 3rd and April 30th. The exception applies only to those shipping pets off Guam, not bringing them to the island, and it does not apply to civilian residents of Guam. An energized power line carrying 13,800 volts of electricity fell from the poles in Harmon yesterday and scorched the pavement of the roadway it fell on. It happened about 11:30 yesterday morning. Fortunately, the live wire did not strike anyone or any passing vehicles. GPA spokeswoman Patty Long Diego telling the Post that the utility's underground high-voltage leader, Raymonchito Soriano, was passing the area at the time, took quick action to notify GPA's power dispatchers of the situation. The drop line caused a brief power outage in the Harmon area. She said the Harmon Loop Hotel was isolated for about 2 hours while GPA line crews repaired the line. GPA Assistant General Manager of Operations Melinda Moffness said preliminary findings indicate that a bird crossed 2 high-voltage power lines, causing one to fall to the ground. GPA reminding the public that all down power lines should be considered live and everyone should avoid them to prevent severe injury or death. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
What kind of bird was that? What was it, eagle?
It was running away from a snake.
Unbelievable. And so it bumped into the wires and one of them fell down?
I don't know how that happened.
That's along the lines of we saved $400,000 in overtime. Let's see if we can get I got to hear it from Patty. If I don't hear it from Patty Diego, it didn't happen. iConnect time in the studio, 637. iConnect longer for less with their push-to-talk mobile and internet plans.
Chili's lunch combos for just $10. Start your lunch with your choice of a Bud Light, iced tea, or Coca-Cola. Plus, free bottomless chips with salsa. Then choose a variety of fresh entree options like our savory beef enchiladas, quesadilla explosion salad, or our Cajun chicken pasta. Experience fresh flavors in every bite with Chili's lunch combos for just $10. Available Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. At Chili's, fresh is happening now.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. I'm Kim Anderson of Chalampago, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voices of our community and sharing thoughts about issues that affect all of us. It all boils down to our people and our land. Protehi Itanomo, protect your land. When it comes to your family land, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
I don't have my gizmo turned on. Can you play another commercial? I turn on my gizmo. What do you think? No?
We can guess.
I don't want to guess. It's traffic that's important. The other guys guess at traffic. I don't want to guess at the traffic. So I gotta do the thing. I don't even know if it's gonna give me something today. I had to plug it into the electricity, and I don't know if it gave me any electricity. So here's the guesstimate on the traffic. It's only 6:37. There is still time to break things out. They're probably going to start amassing a number of cars over at the intersection of 4 and 10, 8, 10, and 16, and from Gigo all the way into Upper Tumon. Expect that to get a little bit busy a little bit later on. Yeah, that's a pretty decent guess at traffic here at 6:38 on The Point.
Yes, money is something we should talk about and plan for and use to make life better. It's how we make our giant leap from where we are to where we want to be. So let's talk together and work together to check off shiny new kitchens, fully nested dorm rooms, and bucket lists with more countries than our passports can hold. Let's check them all off together. First Hawaiian Bank. It all starts with yes. Member FDIC.
Relax, enjoy, and be greeted by the spectacular view of Hagåtña Bay when you visit the Point at the Sheraton Laguna Guam. Gaze into the beautiful sunset as you unwind to the music of Philip Garcia and Natasha on Wednesdays, Mama Shar and Nina on Thursdays, Philip Garcia and Louise Muña on Fridays, and Jack Larimer on Saturdays. Open daily from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. Happy hour from 5 to 8 p.m. with all cocktail drinks for $7. Receive a discount when you present your SPG card. Call Peter Yaban at 646-2222 for reservations at the Point at the Sheraton Laguna Guam Resort.
The Ray Gibson Show. Any speaker, anytime. Call now. 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Live power line hit the roadway, which resulted in the outage. Stated GPA Assistant General Manager of Operations Melinda Muffness. Our findings indicate a bird crossed two high-voltage power lines, causing one to fall to the ground. Now there's got to be more details on that, and so I wanted to find out exactly what kind of bird it was. Patty Diego from the Guam Power Authority. Good morning, ma'am.
Hi, good morning, Raymond. Good morning, Guam.
And so I'm thinking it was a big pterodactyl-sized bird.
Well, I can certainly check with the crews and reconfirm that back to you.
What an interesting story! I'd never. It's either a big bird or something was already knocked loose and getting ready to fall anyway, right?
Well, overhead power lines are exposed to the elements, not in any neighborhood or community like that. But when the crews did their inspection yesterday, that's what they found, and that's what we wanted to share with you. So the line did come down, and one of our employees was actually passing by, and so he was able to spring into action, notifying our dispatchers so that we could control. Remember, the energy is flowing.
Right.
When something like that happens, you want to make sure that, you're looking at the whole picture.
Now, do we have a bird carcass?
When I asked yesterday, they told me that they did find one, and I just didn't investigate that further.
Need pictures, Patty.
You want a picture?
need pictures. It's an incredible story, and so we, it's the same. We used to do this back in the olden days when we first started getting those problems with the snakes. Every once in a while, the story, the press release would come with a picture of a fried snake.
I see. Yes, I remember those in the olden days.
In the olden days, so I'm saying, and they were black and white then. So I'm thinking now in the age of digital technology and a camera on every cell phone that we've got, that maybe Mr. what's the name of the engineer guy? Soriano?
Yes.
Ramosito Soriano was passing at the time. The line fell, took quick action, and notified the power dispatchers of the situation. So maybe Chito got himself a picture of the bird.
Let me check with them, and I'll come back to you a little later today.
I will be here until 10.
Yes, I know that.
Okay, Patty. Have a fantastic morning. I'll see you pretty soon.
Ray?
Yes? What happened?
I do want to add a message about safety, that all power lines that come down should be treated as live, and for safety reasons, stay away from them and call 911 when they encounter this, because it could lead to a severe injury or even death. So not only when we talk about storm recovery, which we're used to doing in this situation, but to treat all down power lines with high safety and precaution.
I always take it a step further and just say anything that comes off of a pole, assume is high voltage and it's live. You and I and the guys might know that the ones on the top are power and the ones over here are cable and the ones over there were phone. But the average random ordinary person doesn't need to keep that kind of thing in their head. So if there is a line that is dangling from a pole, assume that it is a power line with very high voltage and that it is live.
That's correct. And thank you very much for helping us notify the public about that.
Oh, always happy to help. Always happy to help. So I'll be looking for pictures of birds in my email. RayGibsonShow@gmail.com. I'll see you soon. She's never going to talk to me again. She is never going to go on the air with me again. She's going to say, it was nice, you were fun, but... Look, I just want. It's not that I doubt. It's just that I'd like to see the nature of the bird that was able to knock down 18,500 volts of power off of this line. All right, so there's that we'll play around with, and I'm going to be standing by for the picture to arrive on when I get it, I promise you I will post it on the website point.gu on the World Wide Web, and it might use that as the segue here. To find out how we are doing in the online poll. We asked the question, who is not getting reelected into the legislature? And you might be going, wait a second, you talked about this yesterday, Ray? Well, the answer is I will leave the poll questions up until one of two things has happened. Number one, when it's not entertaining to me anymore. And number two, when I've hit a certain number of votes, generally in the research game, in a town this size, if you got about 350, 400 votes or something like that, you got a pretty high sense of confidence in your poll. Yeah. If it was repeated a certain number of times, it would always come up with these similar results. And so we are about there on the numbers. Nice. But I'm still entertained by the poll. So this is why we do this. It's for my entertainment only. You guys, you might have a good time looking at it as well, but it's for my entertainment. And one of the other things that we've done is I've also enabled the comments. So, and you don't have to leave your name. That's the thing. It'll ask for your name and your email, and you're welcome to put those up there. If you're tough or you don't care, use my name if you like. But you don't have to. Just leave the comment there, and I'll take a look at it. And unless it's slanderous or just plain wrong, I'll I'll let it on. So who is not getting reelected into the legislature? The smaller numbers are better. Smaller numbers are better for the candidate. And right now, the smallest numbers belong to Vice Speaker Therese Terlahi and Jim Espaldon. Medium-sized numbers, that is anything higher than about 3, Mary Torres, 5.23, and Tommy Morrison at 3.31. The big numbers here is bad. Wait. So larger numbers include Will Castro at 11.57, Luis Muña at 16.53. But even eclipsing those numbers right now are the 2 top vote getters in the question who is not getting reelected into the legislature. In second place, it would be Regine Bisco-Lee with 26.45%. And number 1 is 32.23. Big number for Telena. And we got I don't know, maybe do something here.
Yeah,
Still got time before the election is all done.
Fully, that's 1/3 of the people who have been polled.
Yeah, I guess that would be right.
That's huge. Oh man.
I think it's the carnival thing. I think it was the taking away the gambling over at the carnival thing. Maybe that's what it was that got everybody mad. But you can't just be mad at her for that. No. I mean, everybody voted on it. It was unanimous that passed over at the legislature. So I don't know. You can play around with the numbers as much as you want to. Look at them. If you haven't voted on it already, then I urge you to go vote on it. And if you have voted on it, hey, what are you doing? We try to make this so that it's, I don't want to say unhackable. Some people have referred to our poll as unhackable, and that's just because the good guys haven't gotten to it yet.
Okay. Yeah, there's some,
Just
there's
wanted
some
to.
humdingers out there.
So yesterday, as everybody knows, because I refuse to stop yakking about it, I'm running in the half marathon this weekend, the United Guam International Marathon, and by way of being just a helpful person in the community, I was out yesterday between, 4:30 and about 7 o'clock at the Gatorade Water and Gatorade station in front of Sandcastle. It's one of the ways that they're, just helping out. Everybody's in training. A lot of people running back and forth and walking. And a lot of tourists, obviously, going back and forth. And we didn't discriminate. If they wanted some Gatorade, we'd give them Gatorade. If they wanted some water, we'd give them some water. And these 2 little Japanese girls from Osaka. I know they were from Osaka because I started talking with them. And they come by, and I said, do you want water, and do you want Gatorade? And they kind of, laugh through their teeth and hands up around the face. And they were asking, where's the beach? We're in Toman, in the Sandcastle. And because you can't see it from the road. There's all the hotels in the Sandcastle in the way. And I said, it's there. And I pointed in the general direction of the beach, but they couldn't sort it out. And so one of the party said, just go into the Hyatt and go through the lobby, and you should be able to make it to the beach. Well, they got all the way to the Hyatt and got into the lobby and kind of got lost in there as well. And I saw them come back around to where we were. And I said, did you make it to the beach? And they made the universal sign of, no, I did not. It's either no, I didn't, or get away from me, Gaijin.
Or that's Ultraman.
So I said, okay, I'll take you. I will take you to the beach. And so I grabbed them gently and walked them back to the Hyatt, back into the lobby, and then, because there's no door, you got to know where the door is to the swimming pool and the beach over at the Hyatt. I walked them through that, and then they were able to go and take their little Japanese girl twinning pictures over at the beach that they've got over at the Hyatt. And then they came back, and they were just unbelievably happy. Now, that will hearken to the olden days. I'm not saying I'm going to save tourism by doing that. I'm not saying that's the big deal. But it takes you back to the early days of tourism on Guam, and people will remember when there wasn't much by way of hotels on Guam. There wasn't much by way of tour companies on Guam, and buses and duty-free shopping and malls and that kind of thing. But the Japanese were still coming here. They were coming here in pretty big numbers in the early days of tourism. And there would be people that would be at Ipao Beach You had to get in with a 4x4 because it was only a dirt road down there back in the old days. And if you wanted to get to a beach, oftentimes you needed a 4x4 because the sand would wash out, and the beach that you went to a couple of weeks ago might be impossible to get to. So you back the thing up and then you go find someplace else. But every once in a while, you're out there and you're having your barbecue and you're playing with your Frisbee and watching the B-52s fly by, and there's 2 or 3 tourists walking up and down the beach. And just enjoying the scenery. Now, back in those days, Chamorro hospitality, come on in. And we don't speak Japanese, and you don't speak English or Chamorro, but we will get together over a can of Schlitz and a barbecue chicken bone or a rib bone or something like that. So in my mind, the savior of our hospitality industry it's going to be, and there's going to be guys that will disagree.
It's going to be us.
It's going to be us. High tech is wonderful. High rise is wonderful, but high touch is important as well. So whenever you have the opportunity, or look for an opportunity when you're down there, see if there's ways that you can make some kind of connection with somebody. You might not be able to. You might have to figure out how to do it in Korean. And anymore, there's a lot of Chinese down there. But it was absolutely terrific. It was people just like us. And so in the process, I got a chance to talk to them about how much I loved Osaka. And they spoke fantastic English, thank goodness. Surprised they couldn't find the beach. But they were pretty talkative about it. And the last question that they asked me was, where can I get a good steak in this town? And you want me to say what I said, right? You want me to spill it?
Tell me.
I'll tell you off the air.
Okay.
Might make that the next poll question. Where's a good place to get a steak in this town? And but I gave them a name and insisted that they call one of the taxi drivers at the hotel they're staying at, and if they wanted to go, and that would be a good thing. Otherwise, this particular steak place also has their own van, and I think they'll pick you up if you call them up and say so. So I'm just saying, it's dicier. Things are going to get more expensive for the tourists with the increase in the BPT, and there are a whole lot of other destinations out there that we are in competition with. So we got to do everything that we can, and that's a we thing, and it's an individual thing. So take advantage of every opportunity that you have to get some express some high touch. And the word's Hafa-day, because they want to hear that when they get to Guam. 6:54 in the morning. So tourism might get bumpy. Well, be careful with that. Be careful when you're in the water. Yesterday, spent a little bit of time at the weather reports and the stories about people getting snagged, rescued at sea. And we'd rather not have to make those kind of reports. So there's a high surf advisory in effect along north-facing reefs until noon on Friday. But do you want another reason not to go in the water? Let me give you another reason not to go near the waters. There's man-o-war that are out there. And they'll put the sting on you, even if they're dead, is the story I heard. Be cool if we could talk with Brent Tibbetts about it. But the splains are pretty easy. Is if you go up on one of these things, you poke it in the blue part, you probably aren't going to get hurt. Do I have him? Really? You found him? Well, that's cool, Mr. Tibbetts.
Hi, good morning.
Hey, good morning to you. I was just giving people a reason to stay out of the water with these man-o-war that seem to be floating by here this time of year.
Yeah, it is. Actually, probably a better reason to stay out of the water is the hazardous surf and current conditions.
I started with that. But I said if you need another reason to stay out of the water.
This would be one, yeah. Traditionally, the season we get man-o-wars around Guam is November to February. But in the last week or so, we've had this typhoon take an odd track and go to the west of us and then north and east again. And that generated a lot of westward winds as well as high surf on the west side, and that brought man-o-wars back to us again. We're seeing a lot of man-o-wars on the west side, which is unusual. Normally we get them mostly on the north and east-facing beaches. But, I've gotten reports of East Agania and Tumon and actually in Apra Harbor as well.
Now I haven't seen any, just in pictures and social media. I want to say that golly, the last time I saw one, there was a fella from Pirates Cove or something that was pointing them out to people and just letting them know. But that's on the eastern side, as you're saying. We're starting to see these things creep up on the western shores. So what should people be on the lookout for? And dead or alive, they can still hurt you, right?
That's correct. Yeah, the blue bubble, or the blue bottle, sometimes it's called, is the floating part of the animal. Underneath that are these thin blue tentacles that are the actual stinging part, and those can reach up to 6 feet in length or so for the man-o-wars we get here. So if you see them floating in the water, don't get close, because they can sting you from a ways away, and they can sting you even after they're dead and washed up on the beach. That is true. So I know sometimes it's fun for kids to walk on the beach and pop them, and it's okay if you're wearing shoes, but if you do get tentacles on bare skin, you can get stung by that as well.
So can you describe the sting?
Unfortunately, I can. Last week we were doing a survey in Pago Bay, and I took a man-o-war across the face.
Oh!
And it was, it reminds me of a really bad sunburn, like if you get a real sunburn on your neck or something and the shirt rubs on it.
Uh-huh.
It's real sharp pain like that, but after about 15 minutes or so, the pain went away, and because the tentacle got me across my upper lip, my lip felt, a little puffy for probably another 10 minutes. I would say within a half hour, all the symptoms were gone.
Oh, thank goodness.
But what I did, and what you should do if you get stung is, the first thing is remove any remaining tentacle. It's very common for tentacles to break off and remain stuck to you. And so remove those, with a stick or something rigid so that you can safely take it off, and then flush the area with a lot of salt water. After I was stung, I removed the rose tentacle on my upper lip. I took it off, and I splashed my face in the water for a few seconds, and then that seemed to take care of it. There are people who may be more sensitive to stings, like bee stings, and if you do get very severe pain or swelling or difficulty breathing or anything, you should seek medical care right away. Certainly.
Yeah, and poke you with a syringe that's got something in it that might be able to counteract the effect of that sting.
Exactly, yeah. But generally the best thing is you make sure to get rid of any tentacle that may be still stuck to you and flush it with lots of salt water, the best thing to do. And if you need to, you take your favorite, aspirin or Tylenol or your favorite painkiller to help with the pain a little bit.
Now, I know that in Australia, last time I was down in Cairns, they had stinger notices up on the beaches there, and they actually had spray bottles at the beach. I guess they were filled with ammonia or something?
It could be that, or it could be vinegar or two.
Yeah, okay.
Compounds that are used for jellyfish. Apparently, sometimes vinegar does help. But one thing I like to point out, being a biologist, is that man-o-wars are not jellyfish. They're similar in their relatives, but a man-o-war is actually a colony of animals living together, while a jellyfish is a single animal. And the way your body reacts to the sting and the way their stingers react to treatment are different.
Yeah, I see. Well, I've only got just a few seconds left in the hour, Brian. I really, really appreciate your insight on this, and I'm sorry that you got stung, and I was going to make a joke about, you peeing on the sting to alleviate the pain, but if you get stung in the face, I don't think that's something that you're going to be into.
No, and I heard all those jokes last week.
I'm sure you did. 7 o'clock in the morning. I'll see you soon, buddy. Stay safe.
Thank you.
We're KUSG, have gotten you the point. Time now for Fox News Live.
Live from New York, the Fox Report.
I'm Lisa Brady. And this is a Fox News alert. Reports of shots fired at the YouTube headquarters in California. At this point, no confirmation of a gunman. Fox's Jessica Rosenthal is live in L.A.
Lisa, 2 hospitals are reporting that they're taking in patients, including San Francisco General, but it is not yet clear how many victims there are. A man named Michael Finney told our affiliate KTVU that a woman shot in the leg stumbled into the Carl's Jr., where he works, across from YouTube, and he wrapped her leg with some bungee cord. He says she did not know why she'd been shot. One man whose Twitter bio says he works at YouTube posted he heard gunshots, saw people running, and barricaded himself in a room with his co-workers. A few minutes later, though, he posted he was evacuated and outside. Another person who works at YouTube wrote on Twitter that he saw blood on the floor and the stairs. But as you said, Lisa, the status of the shooter or shooters here is not clear yet.
Thanks, Jessica. Police just not confirming those details at this point. The Dow up 389 points today, back over 24K. The S&P and the Nasdaq also rallying. Amazon shares shrugging off the latest criticism from President Trump.
After 5 tweets in 1 week, Amazon does seem to be a lightning rod for the president.
Fox Business Network's Deirdre Bolton, the president taking aim at Amazon's business practices, including tax policies, criticism that started during the campaign.
Other people say, listen, President Trump's past life was in construction and building. He knows a lot of real estate people. There's a lot of people whose mall developments or real estate developments are being hurt.
CEO Jeff Bezos also owns the Washington Post, which is often critical of the president. Meantime, the chief policy officer for the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, without naming names, says it's inappropriate for government officials to use their position to attack an American company. This is the Fox Report, fair and balanced.
Triple J says yes. Zero down? Yes. 1.9% financing? Yes. Easy trade-in? Yes. No payments for 90 days? Yes. We'll have you saying yes, too, to these amazing deals. Like our big boy truck, the Ford F-150 at only $217 per paycheck. Or the top safety pick Mazda CX-5 Sport at only $194 per paycheck. Or turn heads in the Mazda 3 Sport or the sleek and sophisticated Kia Soul. Both for only $129 per paycheck. Visit us online at triplejguam.com. Some conditions apply. See dealer for details. Triple J, customers first.
On April 14th, join Bank of Guam for the first ever Hagåtña City EFIT Run and Block Party to benefit the Guam Cancer Care and the American Cancer Society Guam. This event begins with a sunset run through our capital, starting at 5 p.m. at the Chamorro Village, and the excitement continues at our block party with food trucks, beer garden, live entertainment, and the greatest beast competition, and a fun-filled kids zone. The Hagåtña City EFIT Run and Block Party, Saturday, April 14th, brought to you by Bank of Guam, member FDIC.
Mexico wants clarification as President Trump talks about possibly sending troops to the southern border to help stop illegal immigration, at least temporarily.
Until we can have a wall and proper security, we're going to be guarding our border with the military.
Fox's John Roberts at the White House.
So the president is saying we're preparing to have the military, but giving no level of detail of whether it would be equipment or whether it would actually be personnel, whether those would be active duty personnel, whether they would be reservists, or whether they would be National Guard troops. And there have been U.S. troops that were used before.
Former President George H.W. Bush used troops for drug interdiction, and former President Obama ordered National Guard troops deployed to support border security efforts. But a more than century-old law prohibits U.S. armed forces from performing domestic law enforcement duties. The president today also defending his policies on China and Russia.
There's nobody been tougher on Russia. And with that being said, I think I could have a very good relationship with President Putin. I think. It's possible I won't.
This during a joint White House news conference with the presidents of Latvia, Estonia, and Lithuania. Meantime, a Dutch lawyer becomes the first person sentenced in connection with the Russia probe, though the charges were not related to allegations of collusion or election meddling.
This morning, 33-year-old Alex van der Swaan entered federal court here in Washington, D.C., where he was sentenced for lying to federal agents, and this can carry a maximum penalty of up to 5 years in prison.
Fox's Catherine Herridge. Van der Swaan, though, got 30 days in prison and a $20,000 fine for lying about business-related contacts with Trump campaign officials. Recapping the breaking news at the YouTube headquarters in San Bruno, California, that's in the San Francisco area. The headquarters on lockdown as police respond to reports of an active shooter situation. Some hospitals reporting they are getting patients, but police not confirming a gunman or injuries yet. Fox News Radio.
So you want to buy a house, but you don't know how much you could borrow. So what do? Well, you come to Bank Pacific and get pre-qualified. Sit down with one of our home loan specialists and let us see how much we can lend you so you know how much you can spend on your new home. Bank Pacific, where we're open to closing your loan in a hurry.
Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Equal housing lender, conditions apply. Come pre-qualified today.
In illness and in wellness, Calvo's Select Care is health care that is there for you. That's why over 80% of the Guam medical community places their trust and insures with us. We offer our members wellness and fitness programs for a healthier lifestyle and provide a comprehensive medical network on and off island to help members from unexpected illnesses. Contact Calvo's Select Care today for more information.
As we journey through the new year, we here at APL continue to find ways to better deliver our island's resources with innovative and cost-effective solutions, lending our helping hands by carrying your freight safely from the U.S. mainland or anywhere in our global network. We humbly honor the opportunities to continue to work and connect with you and your business. We are APL, and we are here for you.
This time, let's hear it from the first KFC female colonel.
Smoky Mountain Barbecue, fried chicken so crispy and sweet. That crispy fried chicken.
All right, stop. I can't do this. I thought if I dressed up like a country music legend, it would help KFC sell my delicious new Smoky Mountain Barbecue.
KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Yes, money is something we should talk about and plan for and use to make life better. It's how we make our giant leap from where we are to where we want to be. So let's talk together and work together to check off shiny new kitchens, fully nested dorm rooms, and bucket lists with more countries than our passports can hold. Let's check them all off together. First Hawaiian Bank. It all starts with yes. Member FDIC.
Half a day and Good Morning Guam news time here at The Point is 8 minutes past 7 a.m. this Wednesday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. The death of an airman who was found lifeless in his temporary quarters on Andersen Air Force Base last week on Tuesday has now been ruled a homicide. An autopsy performed at Naval Hospital on Friday revealed that Airman Bradley Hale's neck had been slashed multiple times, according to Guam's chief medical examiner, Dr. Aurelio Espinola. Espinola did not conduct the autopsy, but said he had received the autopsy report that found that Hale had sustained 3 cuts to his neck that resulted in him losing a considerable amount of blood. The autopsy was performed by an Air Force forensic pathologist who flew down to Guam from Kadena Air Force Base in Okinawa last week. Hale was on temporary assignment to Guam as part of a rotational deployment from Barksdale Air Force Base in Louisiana. He was originally from Texas. The Air Force Office of Special Investigations has confirmed that a person is in custody in connection with Hale's death. However, they have not yet said whether that person has been charged. In other news, another meeting of the Special Economic Service Commission yesterday at the legislature. The meeting was called following the administration's submission last week of a revised fiscal realignment plan that cuts $30 million from the current budget, and 2 days after a new tax law took effect. Lester Carlson, acting director of the Bureau of Budget and Management Research, thanked lawmakers for passing the new revenue measure, saying that with the cost cutting and the inclusion of the BPT revenue, the administration was able to reduce cuts to police and fire services down to $800,000 and $900,000 respectively. The impact of those agencies, he said, was minimized due in great part to being able to project the $24.6 million that we expect to collect in the rest of the fiscal year from the new tax. Also during the session yesterday, Acting Director of the Department of Administration, Edward Burns, said vendor payables have been reduced to roughly $34 million, down from $41 million in February. And Public Auditor Doris Flores Brooks said that her office is currently conducting 3 audits of the Department of Revenue and Taxation. One is on the tobacco tax, and there are significant control lapses there, said Brooks. A real property tax audit is also underway, about which she said, we see the significant amount of accounts receivables on the books at Rev and Tax, but not on the books at DOA. The third audit is on the gaming tax. We'll have more news after this.
We can't buy this house.
What?
It has 4 bathrooms. Just think of all the bathtub rings, water spots, and stains, plus the cleaning products I'll have to buy.
Didn't I tell you? The house comes with a non-electric Connecticut water treatment system. We'll have clean, soft water throughout the house, protect the water-using appliances, keep the tub, showers, and sinks looking like new, and help our skin, hair, and clothes look and feel great, too. The house even includes a Connecticut drinking water system.
A Connecticut system in the house? We'll take it.
American Water Tech. Smarter water. Better water. Call American Water Tech, 649-2301, or email info@AmericanWaterTech.com.
In illness and in wellness, Calvo's Select Care is health care that is there for you. That's why over 80% of the Guam medical community places their trust and insures with us. We offer our members wellness and fitness programs for a healthier lifestyle and provide a comprehensive medical network on and off island to help members from unexpected illnesses. Contact Calvo's Select Care today for more information.
11 minutes past 7 a.m. here at The Point. A former ramp agent for Micronesia Air Cargo has pleaded guilty to mail theft and admitted that he and co-workers stole numerous items that were intended to be delivered to the CNMI. The defendant is Brandon Ward O'Malley. He was charged on September 29, 2017. He signed an agreement the same day. However, the federal case against him was only unsealed yesterday in district court. O'Malley had worked as a ramp agent for Micronesian Air Cargo and was responsible for loading cargo onto the flights that transported U.S. mail from Guam to the Commonwealth. The stolen items were valued at $3,314. O'Malley is scheduled to be sentenced on July 2nd. The information the governor's financial team provided to a Department of Interior conference in December of last year that $31 million in federal grant money was left unspent has been updated. The governor's office yesterday saying that the updated number is just $2.5 million because more funds were used. Edward Byrne, Department of Administration acting director, said the $2.5 million primarily represents Medicare funding. The Medicare monies were incentives available for private medical providers, he said. Not all providers chose to utilize those funds to upgrade systems, and the allocation had to be returned, Byrne said in a statement released by Adelup yesterday. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Here's Ray with some weather.
Partly cloudy skies today, Kevin, with isolated showers. Northeast winds up to about 20 miles an hour, decreasing 10 to 15 miles an hour this evening. Expected daytime highs today, warm 88 degrees. Overnight lows tonight of about 76 degrees. Quiet forecast over the next few days. Northeast winds veering to easterly trades by tomorrow. More moisture will mean mostly cloudy skies Thursday through Saturday. But for now, showers are forecast to remain isolated. Catch the water where you can. High surf advisory in effect along north-facing reefs until noon on Friday. Elsewhere, surf 8 to 10 feet, falling 7 to 9 feet by tonight. Very hazardous out there. Watch out for the waves. Don't get in the water if you don't need to. As the man says, there's nothing worth going in the water for. Even if you lost your keys, even if you're going to get that jewelry that the old lady dropped in Titanic.
Yeah.
Wait. just wait. Hold out. And another reason why you don't want to go in the water here is because we've got the man of war.
I was going to say,
water.
if the waves don't get you, the critters will.
Yeah. So just enjoy it, like I said, from the confines of the car on the beach. That's news and weather together here on The Point.
Relax, enjoy, and be greeted by the spectacular view of Hagåtña Bay when you visit The Point at the Sheraton Laguna Guam. Gaze into the beautiful sunset as you unwind to the music of Philip Garcia and Natasha on Wednesdays, Mama Shar and Nina on Thursdays, Philip Garcia and Louise Muña on Fridays, and Jack Larimer on Saturdays. Open daily from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. Happy hour from 5 to 8 p.m. with all cocktail drinks for $7. Receive a discount when you present your SPG card. Call Peter Yaban at 646-2222 for reservations at The Point at the Sheraton Laguna Guam Resort.
I'm sure I'm supposed to read something important here, and I completely forgot about it. Oh, security title. Oh, I can do that one off the top of my head. Security. When you are in the middle of a complex real estate transaction, it's good to have a ranger in there. Good to have somebody that can take you through the heres and the wherefores and all of that. And that's what they do. They're good at it, at Security Title.
Don't wait another day and waste another dollar. You can start saving today. At Guahan Insurance Services, we are here to help protect your investment and save you money. We offer insurance advising for business, car, and home insurance. So come and visit us at our new office at Camacho Landmark Center at Marine Corps Drive in Timoning, and let us show you that you can count on us for all your insurance needs. Call 475-1162.
So I'm going to tell you this so that you can get back to wherever it is that you're watching the feed on. It's not going to be it won't do you much good if you're listening to the radio. But we have the technology here in the Facebook Live and the Point.gu video to be able to send you an image of something that you might want to see that had something to do with a newscast and a telephone call that we did in the last hour. So I won't get close to it. Well, I'll show it to you after the break. In the meantime, portions of the program brought to you by First Hawaiian Bank. where it all starts with yes.
Ready to buy real estate on Guam? Congratulations! But what now? There are so many questions, so many things to do. Where do you start? The best place to start is to call Century 21 Commonwealth Realty, Guam's biggest name in real estate. They aren't the best because they're the biggest. They're the biggest because they're the best. Trust the name. Find out why. Call Century 21 Commonwealth Realty today. 888-2121. Trust the best.
Ray Gibson brings you closer to the action. Watch and listen live on thepoint.gu.
That's right. You can watch this stuff here. Any speaker, any screen, any time. Even after 10 o'clock in the morning when the program is all concluded, you can still reach out to me. I'm always on the Facebook and the social medias. And if you miss a portion of the program or it was just so good, you have to listen and watch again, then Facebook will have a video on demand for you, but you can go to YouTube and just search Ray Gibson Show, and it will show you all of the programs that we've done pretty much since we started doing the show again. So that's one of the great ways that we're trying to use technology to maintain a 24-hour conversation between you and I here at the radio station. You can do it the old-fashioned way, 888-8255. That's 888-TALK. If there's something running across your mind that you'd like to get out on the radio. Otherwise, just sit back and listen, and I'm okay with that. So in the story yesterday, I started seeing this on social media about a live wire down in Harmon, and the folks over at the Guam Power Authority did put out a press release that's at 11:30 a.m. An energized 13.8 kilovolt primary power line came off a power pole and fell to the ground. Now, my buddy Eddie on social media, first question he asked was, how did it fall down? But they don't normally do that. They're usually held up by something that will keep them up on the pole.
Yeah, power line holder thingies.
Right. Our findings indicate a bird crossed two high-voltage power lines, causing one of them to fall to the ground.
Just on the surface here, I'm guessing that the bird actually made contact with two of the wires at the same time.
Possible.
Which would result in an arc.
Well,
and
so-
that could blow one of them off the pole.
And I asked for and have received. It's not pretty for breakfast.
No, that's...
But that is apparently the bird that was found at the scene, and somebody did take a picture of this poor bird. Well, not quite a full-grown one, I don't think. Wonder if it was one of the endangered ones. One is running away from a snake.
Had to be big enough to do a spread eagle between the two lines, huh?
That's a big bird. That's a big spread eagle, literally. And so that's what we've got. I don't have much by way of scale. It doesn't look like a very big bird, but it sure looks like it got through something. It was in a fight with something. I don't know, a snake or a cat, or maybe some high-powered voltage lines from the Guam Power Authority. But that, if you're watching it on the Facebook Live, is exactly what they were talking about. That is the bird that caused the commotion over in the Harmon area yesterday, and maybe we'll just leave that up there for a little bit so that everybody can. Maybe no, I got to take that thing off. Wait, let's put that one up there. 888-8255 is the phone number around here. Do we got to do the market report now? It's a good time for the market report. Not a good day for birds, though, apparently. Here it is, and it's up and down. It does this, the market. This is why we don't just say put all your money in the market and you're going to make a gazillion dollars, because there are ups and downs in the markets, and you generally should be buying and holding. And for those of you that held through the distress yesterday, you were rewarded 24,033 points for the Dow Jones Industrial. They picked up and recovered better than what they lost the other day, up by 1.65. NASDAQ at 69.41. They're up by 1%. The S&P 500 also in the green, 32.57. The markets are up today. Nikkei down by about 97 points, 21,292. If you're going to Japan, the yen to Japan is 106.63. If you're going to be making some transactions on that, where do you do your transactions? I know some people that wait till they get to the hotel.
Oh, okay.
And that's generally a bad idea.
I always do my exchanges at the airport.
Do you?
Yeah.
I know some people that are better at planning than I am that will go to DFS. They'll go down to duty free.
Oh, okay.
And they say it's a very, very good rate that they have down there. The big stories in the financial side, YouTube headquarters, the shooting is female suspect in the YouTube headquarters shooting is dead, according to NBC News. That's something that we've been watching here for about the last half hour or so. We'll see if there's any new details on that. They're not saying very much other than there was a shooting and people have been hit, and now they're saying that a suspect in that shooting is dead. Spotify, which is a service that I use, closes up 13%. It was a little touch and go, first day, and everybody bought it 156, and then it went down to 150, and people said, whoa, hey, hi.
That's not how it's supposed to work.
No, I need this to go up. Spotify's supposed to be bigger in numbers than even Apple. So that kind of amazing there. There's a couple of other stories. They're banging on Trump as usual. Trump's tax cut windfall lifts stocks dividends to new records, and his tweets can't hurt Amazon. But here's how the government could crack down on Amazon. Okay, we'll see what happens with all of those stories. Don't have much news on the oil front. West Texas trading at 63.58, and I have not gotten an update on Tapas. The last number I have is from March. So I'm going to see if I can get another source to get me caught up on what's happening with Tapas. That way I can better predict whether you need to put gasoline in your car today or whether you can wait a couple of days. 7:22 in the morning, and that's the market report here on The Point. Time for The Extra Point with Jerry Roberts.
You've got a good product, but it can be better. You don't want to launch it until it's perfect, right? I'm Jerry Roberts, and we gingerly steer toward the intersection of high hopes and questionable decisions. Destination, perfection. Next on The Extra Point. I was young and looking to make more money than most people my age, and I see an ad in the classified section of the newspaper touting an opportunity for novelty items with a political flair, big market for top quality products, looking for aggressive person. Political, big market, aggressive? I liked all that, so I called. It was a guy with a partner in New York City who were coming out with a line of politically inspired watches featuring the images of people like Spiro Agnew, Richard Nixon, and others. There was nothing on the market like them. I smelled that opportunity. Retailers reacted well to the samples I showed. A couple were national chains, and they said if the watches sold locally, the orders could be very large to take the watches across the U.S. My only problem was the New York partner was tinkering with the designs to make them perfect. I couldn't tell retailers when the watches would be available. We told him that people already love the original designs and were ready to buy now. The guy said to wait. We'd love the changes. A week went by, then 2, a month. All the while, I'm calling the retailers to tell them even better designs were on the way and I'd be delivering them soon. Then, a couple of days later, while watching the CBS Evening News, there was a story about the Dirty Time Company of Anaheim, California, and their Spiro Agnew watch. You can guess the rest. The national media stories created an instant demand for their watches. Celebrities were buying them by the dozens to give to friends, as retailers frantically lined up to stock them. The New York partner told us, oh, go ahead and sell the original designs. But it was too late. All those retailers I had spoken with had made their deals with the other company. Our designs were better, but it didn't matter. By delaying, we had missed the opportunity. And I'm told the Dirty Time Company sold millions of dollars of watches the first year. In the end, we were left playing the if game. If the New York partner had agreed to sell the very good original designs right away, if he had sent samples to CBS, other networks, and the newspapers at the beginning, it might all have turned out differently. Instead, that particular excursion on the road to perfection hit an unexpected and unnecessary dead end. I suggest you stay off that road. That's The Extra Point. Get out there and make something good happen today. For 93.3, I'm Jerry Roberts.
As Rod Stewart once said, never wait or hesitate. Get in, kid, before it's too late. That's the rule. He was talking about the job opportunities. I'll share one with you in just a couple of minutes. It's 7:25. That's The Extra Point. On The Point, is it time for
Chili's
traffic?
lunch combos for just $10. Start your lunch with your choice of a Bud Light, iced tea, or Coca-Cola. Plus, free bottomless chips with salsa. Then choose a variety of fresh entree options like our savory beef enchiladas, quesadilla explosion salad, or our Cajun chicken pasta. Experience fresh flavors in every bite with Chili's lunch combos for just $10. Available Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. At Chili's, fresh is happening now.
There's the right now traffic music bed that we use here at Choice Broadcasting to let you know that we're going to tell you what traffic is like right now. And it looks as usual that, coming out of Dedido might be, and Gigo, a little bit of a, it's the morning, right? You hit the traffic. Traffic southbound towards the Guam Regional Medical City, building up a little bit heavier now than traffic coming out of Guam Regional Medical City towards Marine Corps Drive. Once you're past that, expect a little bit of traffic getting into the rest of town. Up Santos Hill is also a little bit snagged. Coming out of the Guam International Airport at that intersection, in their little triangle park that they've got, you might see some delays moving through there as well. The only other thing that I'm looking at that looks like it might be a little bit tricky is a little bit of traffic around Pokey Fry going up the hill towards Route 8. 8, 10, and 16 generally clear at this point, but I think it's going to heavy up before too much longer. Let me just take a quick look at what's happening down on 4. 4 is looking okay. 10 is looking okay until you get around the university and the school areas there on Vietnam Veterans Memorial Highway, where we got traffic that is building in both directions. 727, that's right now traffic on The Point.
For over 55 years, Community First has served our island as a full-service financial institution. And now, we're proud to introduce the new Community First Student-Run Credit Union, open in Manila on Route 10, Guam's first student-run financial institution, which means it's operated by college students like us, ready to serve all our members, existing and new. We're just down the road from UOG and GCC. Community First Guam Federal Credit Union, now open in Manila. This credit union is federally insured by NCUA.
Come out for the 4th annual Chucky Run and Fun 5K, 2K, and Flyaway giveaway. Join us Saturday, April 14th at Chuck E. Cheese's Guam. Show at 5:30 and go at 6 a.m. T-shirts, medals, and other cool prizes, refreshments, and indoor activities after the races. Grand prize drawing for all participants is a trip package for 2 to Manila. Register at Chuck E. Cheese's Guam. $8 for students, $12 for adults, and Group of 4 Super Saver for just $35. The 4th annual Chuck E. Run and Fun 5K, 2K, and Flyaway giveaway. See you there.
Facebook Live this morning. Hey, Eric Wessling, nice to see you there. Agnes and Charlie, nice to have you along. Ken LG has got his Facebook Live moving this morning. So does Bob Delphin and Melissa Salas Akimoto. Great picture of you and the kids in the newspaper this morning. Oh, it's Feli Tan Valencia, marathoner. Speaking of the marathon, the Guam International Marathon, the online registration is closed effective 11:59 last night. And maybe you're one of those guys going, I thought I had more time. Well, you actually do have more time. You just can't do it online anymore. You just need to show up at the expo, and that will be happening on, that starts at 11 o'clock, I believe, on Friday morning. Tom Watson is there. Nice to see you online in long distance. I got Lynn and Vince Polino. Ike Iseki, I call him Marvin. Teresa Arroyo Montanani, Carl and Jerry Gutierrez, Frank Teito, I see Bob and Connie Bartonico. Go Seniors. And Carl Pangilinan, that's the one with a K, Roy Burgess, Ron and Cindy De La Rosa, RDR we call him, and Dora Marie Fergerger and Jeffrey Ojeda are Chad Anderson and a Partridge in a Pear. Everybody is on this morning on the Facebook Live. And I got a couple of notes from people that said, Ray, can you put the picture of the dead bird back on for a while? That would be... Yay, the dead bird that flew into the line in Harmon. So there it is for those of you that are on the Facebook Live thing and are wondering what big story that you've missed. But we've got even more. We've got even more big stories for you from Kevin Kerrigan and the Guam Daily Post. You about ready to go? I bring you in early because I brought you in late last time. What do you say? Kevin Kerrigan now from the Guam Daily Post with a quick look at headlines.
Half a day, good morning, Guam. In the headlines from the Daily Post this morning, this just in from the governor's office. The Agana Pool will be reopening this Friday, according to a release from Adelup. The pool will resume its normal operational hours beginning Friday, April 6th. Those operating hours are Tuesday through Friday from 6 a.m. until 8 p.m., Saturday and Sunday from 9 in the morning to 6 in the evening, closed Monday for regular maintenance. The statement says the governor's office is now working with the Department of Parks and Recreation on reopening the entirety of the Paseo Stadium and the Dededo Pool once renovations have been completed there. In other news, Speaker Benjamin Cruz yesterday questioning the accuracy of the Calvo administration's claim that $400,000 was saved by the 23-day closure of 2 fire stations during the special economic service meeting at the legislature yesterday. The speaker said somebody stepped on something and trying to inflate the numbers to justify the closure. He admonished the governor's fiscal team, telling them to make sure that they clear all the numbers so that zeros don't get added so that it looks good. The speaker said it just undermines your entire credibility. United Airlines announcing yesterday an exception to its suspended PetSafe pet transport program to allow military members and State Department officials on Guam to ship their pets off island through the end of April. According to a posting on the airline's website, effective yesterday, April 3rd, United allowing an exception to its suspension of new PetSafe reservations for members of the military and their spouses and State Department Foreign Service personnel and their spouses who wish to travel with or ship their pets out of Guam between April 3rd and April 30th. The exception applies only to those shipping pets off Guam, not bringing them to the island, and it does not apply to civilian residents of Guam. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
I got you. At 7:32 in the morning, that is iConnect time. Connect longer for less with iConnect's push-to-talk mobile. And the cool thing about this is when you have one of these push-to-talk phones, you get to use words like relay, relay. I don't know why, but it's every conversation I've ever heard with people talking on their push-to-talk phones. They go, relay, relay, and then they talk to whoever it is without actually doing any kind of relay. But you get to say the words because you've got the two-way thing going on. Push-to-talk mobile and internet plans with iConnect. Relay, relay.
At Micronesia Renewable Energy, values matter. So all of their solar energy systems come with guarantees and the most value. No shortcuts, all quality. It's giving you that solar energy system at the best price. It's using highly efficient solar panels with Typhoon-proven racking, built by highly skilled local technicians, so your system performs and saves you money. It's total peace of mind all the time. Not all solar companies are created equal. For experienced quality solar, it's MRE. Call 632-2613. MRE, the smarter choice.
See, I have a choice. I can do Cold Stone Creamery here, or I can do the Wendy's, because it all comes out of the same pocket here. I did Cold Stone last time, right?
Yes, you did.
So I think we ought to mash them up. I think we ought to like Wendy's has the new smoky mushroom bacon cheeseburger with the smoky sautéed portobello mushrooms, melted Asiago cheese, crispy applewood smoked bacon, crunchy fried onion tangles, right? Not onion rings. They're just like onion tangles, and it's a light kind of fry that they put on these things. So it's not adding a whole lot of density, just flavor and texture to your meal. All atop a juicy beef patty made entirely from golden Oreo cookies. No? Too much?
Close.
You get the golden...
I was going to suggest taking the burger over to Cold Stone after you get it, and they'll top it with a scoop of some of that ice cream. With
the strawberry shortcake and fresh lemon pie ice cream. You can do both of those things because they're close enough together over a GPO. That's a breakfast and a lunchtime treat from Wendy's.
The stations of Choice Broadcasting are celebrating April 2018 as National Earth Month in the first ever Upcycle Mascot Showdown. We've invited the public elementary 5th grade classes to set the example and build their school mascots completely out of recyclable material. Come down to the Chamorro Village Festival Huts on April 21st from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. for upcycle-themed games, chances to win prizes, and a special performance from Body Arts Dance Studio. Don't forget to stop by the Guam Girl Scouts booth to learn how you can make a cleaner, greener effort in your community. Support your school's mascot and be sure to vote for your favorite. Judges pick the first place winner. The public votes for the second place winner. Celebrate Earth Month with our students in the Upcycle Mascot Showdown. Brought to you by Leo Palace Resort Guam, Dr. Yang Dental, Denny's of Guam, Jams Media Productions, and The Point.
This time, let's hear it from the first KFC female colonel.
Smoky Mountain Barbecue, fried chicken so crispy and sweet. That crispy fried chicken. All right, stop.
stop. I can't do this. I thought if I dressed up like a country music legend, it would help KFC sell my delicious new Smoky Mountain Barbecue.
KFC, it's finger licking good.
So I was telling you earlier about Marine Corps Drive snagging up as you get close to Guam Regional Medical City. Actually, it's snagging up in both directions there now. On Route 3 towards Marine Corps Drive, it's that left turn, right? And another left turn that everybody wants to make, and in what in my mind is one of the most ridiculous turn lanes that we've got, is the one that goes from Marine Corps Drive into Route 3. So expect some delays coming out of there. Also delays on 27 Alpha if you're trying to get out from where the new flea market is. You might want to build in some additional time. Route 16 over in front of Malakuti's place is also getting a little bit heavy. I'm looking at the intersection on the backside of the Micronesia Mall. You know where they used to have those little barbecue pit things going on? That intersection might be a little bit delayed for you. Might need a couple of lights to get through all of that. 888-8255 is the phone number. If you see something that nobody else can see, then let us know about it here.
For over 55 years, Community First has served our island as a full-service financial institution. And now, we're proud to introduce the new Community First Student-Run Credit Union, open in Manilao on Route 10. Guam's first student-run financial institution, which means it's operated by college students like us, ready to serve all our members, existing and new. We're just down the road from UOG and GCC. Community First Guam Federal Credit Union, now open in Manilao. This credit union is federally insured by NCUA.
Looking for a reliable power system when the power goes out? Kohler Power Systems are quiet, reliable, and dependable. And they stay that way with regular service and support from the team at Morico Equipment because they also offer qualified after-sales service and support for Kohler Power Systems. Kohler generator systems are sold and serviced on Guam by Morico Equipment. You should call them now at 649-1946 or click moricoequipment.com.
I'd like to note that on Facebook Live this morning, one of our very important clients, Ed Untalan from First Hawaiian Bank, it all starts with yes, is online. So I'll be on my best behavior and I'll be using my announcer voice, right? I can't do it. Can't do it. Can't keep a straight face that long. Sorry, there's just too much stuff here to talk about. 7:38 in the morning, and on the way, another look at Fox News Live. See if there's any new details on the shooting at the YouTube campus out in just outside San Francisco, just in that area. Interesting story. Last word I got was that somebody, a female, is suspect. Had been shot by police there. We'll see if there's any new details for you on that particular story. Yeah, I see it there, Ed. Good to have you along this morning. 7:38 in the morning, and the Ray Gibson Show here on The Point. 888-8255 is the phone number if you have got something on your mind and you want to get it out. That's usually the best way to do it, and that's okay. If you don't have anything on your mind, let me tell you some of the things that are in my head this morning. Conversations about the SES meeting over at the legislature yesterday. And I probably could have taken the time necessary to sit there with their YouTube feed and parse every single word for, but I knew guys over at the Guam Daily Post were doing it, so I didn't want to duplicate the effort. Basically, they got it together and talked about a number of things. Number one, accuracy is important, so when we shut down a fire station and 23 days later reopen it and say, wow, we saved $400,000 in overtime, well, did we furlough the employees? How did we manage to save $400,000 in overtime? Because we need to figure out how to do that for the rest of the year. Because if we can do it for the rest of the year, that's $6.3 million worth of overtime savings. Overtime, the most expensive cost that you can have as a personnel, is expensive to begin with. You start laying overtime on top of that, it just gets kind of crazy. And so we'd like to see if we can make that kind of thing happen again. And now those fire stations are reopened, and over the weekend they opened the Agana precinct, and all of the remnants now, all of the ghosts of the of the closures now. This is the last one of them, right? The Agana swimming pool?
No, the
Dededo swimming?
Dededo swimming pool.
Yeah,
but
but
that was closed already.
Yeah, it was already closed. It's like we're closing the Dededo swimming pool because
it's closed.
Bad fiscal conditions in the government of Guam brought on by that dastardly Trump tax cut in January, even though we stopped paying other bills back in October. So I'm just saying. So that one never made any kind of sense to me. But so that one was already closed. So when they reopen it, they will reopen it because whatever maintenance work needed to get done, whatever repair work needed to get done, was done. Not necessarily that we've got bags of dough now because we've got this increase in the BPT and all of that. So the last of the other vestiges of the closures will reopen now. What's the date here? Agana Pool resumes operations and more facilities to follow in April. $30 million reduction for the government of Guam while simultaneously exercising austerity. The executive branch has begun to restore some of its initial efforts that were made in an attempt to shrink operational expenses. The governor's office is now working with the Department of Parks and Recreations on reopening the entirety of the Paseo Stadium and the Dededo Pool. Once renovations have been complete, we should be able to get all of that done by the end of April. Agana Pool will resume its normal operational hours starting Friday the 6th. And for those of you that have been out of it so long and forgot the hours, Tuesday through Friday, 6 until 8 p.m., Saturday and Sunday from 9 until 6. And on Mondays, they're closed for regular maintenance, pool and ground. What is interesting to me, though, is that they're talking about opening up the entirety of the Paseo Stadium before the end of April as well. Now, I haven't been to the Paseo Stadium. I haven't seen what's going on there. The only thing that I've got is the testimony of a fellow named Mark Colby. Now, I know Mark, and I know Mark's working hours at his real-life job, so it's probably unlikely that we're going to be able to find him this morning because he's probably just checked in on that job, and they probably don't like him making outside phone calls while he's supposed to be doing something else. It's possible, though, that he may find us on his own, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens if we can get it done. Because, as I said, I'm not sure what exactly was going on, but it seemed to me that the nature of some of what they needed to get done had to do with construction and reconstruction work. And is that something that we can get done for everything over at the Paseo Stadium between here and the end of April? Inquiring minds want to know, and I simply don't have the numbers on that. So I want to see what we can find out from those guys. I'm glad to see that things are beginning to open up again. And we're able to find some money, some scratch to be able to get it done. April wasn't supposed to be a terrible month. We knew that notwithstanding an increase in the BPT, we were going to be going through the tax day, and there were going to be people showing up at the Department of Revenue and Taxation, I guess on the 17th, to start paying off whatever it is that they owe for tax year 2017. So might have enough money to see us through the end of the fiscal year. Of course, there's still all kinds of things that we got to pay for and we got to buy, but they're working on it. They're working on it. 888-8255. I can't for some reason see who they're. Maybe got to reset something here. So just tell me who's where.
Well, I got two big names. I've got on 3 Speaker B.J. Cruz,
right,
and on 1 Mayor Paul McDonald.
Ooh.
Yeah, tough call.
Ooh, yeah. I got to make decisions here.
I got seniority. I have the coin.
Seniority?
No, I have the coin.
Well,
Let's get a magical coin.
BJ's older. So I'll take BJ. Mayor McDonald will come to you in just a second. I did want to get with Beach to find out if admonishment was the limit, or if maybe we've got another number here on the $400,000 overtime savings as a result of closing the fire stations. Morning, Speaker.
Good morning. I'm older.
Aren't you?
Grief. Yes, I'm older than this.
What? Then wait a second.
Except Methuselah.
They say age is just a number. I'm always happy when I see BJ in a room because it means that I'm not the oldest. I go, great, thank God he's here. So no problem. How'd the SES meeting go yesterday? I'm basically looking for the debrief on that.
I thought it went very well, actually. There was no screaming. You know, it was very but there was a good exchange of information. Some disconcerting news, but we'll have to wait and see when that shoe drops.
Wait. You can't do that. You can't say some disconcerting news and say I have to wait.
Well, no, I didn't get the full answer either. But the public auditor made a statement during the meeting that they're currently doing 3 audits of the Department of Revenue Taxation, that there were issues that they were addressing in the real property tax. Mm-hmm. There was issue with limited gaming tax, and there was issue with one other audit that she was doing. And I'm like, oh God!
So it's all leakage at the end of it because we don't have the surveillance and we can't guarantee the compliance.
Well, she said she couldn't say more than that she was doing these. Why she dropped it in the middle of the SES, I don't know, but I'm glad that she at least said that. So now maybe we're going to have to put off addressing some of these bills until it is released, so that we can find out what those problems are. Because I'm sure, people are going to want to know what the OPA is saying.
Specifically, though, you mean holding off on the measures that you had the public hearing on the other day, the increase in the real property taxes and sin taxes?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, in my mind, that's good news. As a taxpayer, it means that I can still go out and afford to buy my 12-pack of whatever for the same price that I paid for just the other day.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
At least temporarily.
For a meantime, and of course the word from the Visitors Bureau and their analysts down there that said that we can expect to see about 100,000 less tourists coming in.
Yeah, that was at the end. I thought I was going to get feel good news at the end, and he tells me that. But one of the papers it would look misleading. But then when I read the story, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. The way that the story started off was that following some tax increases, the visitor industry is falling off or something, and I'm like, it wasn't as a result of our tax increases that the visitor industry is
facing another challenge. So yeah, but.
And at least throughout the article, it made it clear that, it was the Delta pullout, it was the United cutting back on its flights, but we're being helped by some charter flights from Japan. But it wasn't. I guess when you finish reading the article, you have to go back up, and then it just kind of means that following all the other problems, but not as a result of. GovGuam is facing another problem with the drop in tourism.
What is not in that article, and I don't know whether the analyst brought it up, 100,000 visitors over the course, 100,000 fewer visitors over the course of the year, given the makeup of the tourists, and a majority of them may be coming from Korea. Did they give you a sense of how much money we were talking about losing as a result of 100,000 fewer tourists here?
No, they didn't. Unfortunately, I recognized them right at the end. I'm thinking I was going to get some good news, and we didn't question him further about it.
There is a good news GVB piece in the press kit this morning. Josh Tekenko has invited all of his media partners, and I'm sure you can go too, to the Phase 2 completion of the Tumon Bay Streetlight Rehabilitation Project. The Flip the Switch ceremony will be Thursday, April 5th at about sunset across GVB and Proa.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not far from me.
No. So, yeah, we just right up the street. We'll go and we'll watch that and have a sunset and maybe go to Pro and drink a tax-free drink.
Okay.
I got it. Now, what are you working on today then?
Nothing else. Just the other things that were this. Did you watch the SES yesterday?
No, I missed the SES. I actually have other work that I've got to do besides doing the radio show, so I was doing some of that while the SES was playing.
Okay, no. The other thing that was brought up after the OPA brought up the idea of the fact that there are these problems at revenue tax was the suggestion that a couple of us senators have received from tax accountants that RevenTax really ought to seriously consider announcing an amnesty program for taxpayers who are delinquent in their taxes.
They should have done that a month and a half ago when we first started talking about it.
And every time we've had an SES, John has said, he's seriously considering it. He's seriously considering it, and he's really balking at the idea of doing it. But both Senator Espaldon and I got calls from separate tax accountants that told us that their clients would be more than willing to go out and find quick money, whether or not they had, even if they had to go out and borrow it, they would go out and borrow the principal amount of tax owed to pay that off if they didn't have to, if it meant that they wouldn't have to pay their penalty and interest in the payment plan that they're currently undergoing or agreeing to. And though RevenTax has them on on a payment plan, maybe amnesty and getting the principal immediately as opposed to a small amount every month for the next couple of years would help stabilize it.
So why haven't it? How long does it take to seriously consider something? Because it seems to me that this can be done fairly quickly. It's not the first time we've done it. So and there's people that have been there long enough to remember how it worked.
Oh no, and John brought. I wasn't going to use any numbers myself, but then John, I said, my source told me that there would be considerable revenue generated, and then John volunteered the information that in 2007 that they raised $20 million from an outstanding receivable of $100, and which then begs the question: if you're now telling me that there's $190 million that's outstanding in receivables, how much more could we possibly raise than the 20 that you raised from
was there an answer? Did they answer that?
I
want to hazard a guess? You want to hazard a guess around 40 million?
I just looked at Lester and I said, would you please take this Senator Espaldon's exhortation and mine to the tax commissioner at Loop and ask whether or not he would consider it if his delegated deputy is not willing to.
Say get her done, and I tell you what, some of that money we ought to earmark for a new computer system for the Department of Revenue and Taxation, so that they can change all of their workflow habits from inputting to analysis and collections.
Yes,
as Doris Brooks says,
was had yesterday about the fact that was necessary and how there has to be mandatory e-filing of taxes so that they wouldn't have to do all the by hand input of the information.
It's ridiculous that we still are dealing with this conversation all of these years after we should have bought a new system a long, long time ago. Hey, I'm going to let you.
The other thing that was brought up, what I know was a big bone of contention with you. In spite of my being so old, I still have a very good memory, Raymond. I remember your rants on the not being able to pay your taxes with your credit card.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I posed the question: are we being penny wise and pound foolish by being concerned about a $4 million POS charge for credit cards if we could possibly generate $600 million in taxes?
Did you extort that as well?
Yes.
So, wait a second, because that is a long time ago. I'd forgotten about that particular rant. I remember that they were in the horns of a dilemma there, trying to figure out what they were going to do with that, and so they decided the path of no action.
Yeah, remember when they raised the question about the fact that we were paying $4 million in bank charges, and so they canceled it. They stopped doing it, but then they were going to try to figure out something. Then there was all these RFPs for another POS, and it never happened. And you were pulling your hair out, screaming on the radio about get this done because you hated going up there.
I don't like going there. It's just a little bit crowded all the time, and there's way too many lines. I was under 55 at the time. Now I don't care because I'm over 55. I can get to the front, so I'm probably going to be okay. But I want the mileage on my credit cards. I want some of the bonus dough on the credit cards. I don't mind paying the convenience fee. We just got to figure out all of that stuff and make it go. I want to keep you on because there was a point that I think Doris made about $90 million or $100 million waiting for $90 million worth of money coming from the government of Guam. That sounds kind of pie in the sky right now, given our current financial situation.
Well, yes, it is. There's, the ACA, your favorite president's Affordable Care Act, provided Guam a little over 200 or close to 200 or just about $200 million in federal funds for Medicaid.
Yes.
And
so we give them $90 million, and we get $100 million back.
Matching that we have to come up with, and that's a difficulty.
Right. That's like saying let's be 6 feet taller.
Yeah, and so Senator Dennis Rodriguez in the legislature tried to address that by using some of the money that the Healthy Futures Fund and Farm Fund, rather than it being a direct subsidy to the hospital. We said this would have gone to the hospital, but instead of going directly to the hospital, we'll send it to Public Health and Social Services to be the 55% match that we have to come up with, whatever our match is.
Did we make it?
So that was a small sum of money. And it was, I think $12 or $15 million. So what Doris was bringing up was that she had a discussion with Tess Archangel, and Tess had said, we have this $100 million in an account here that's actually here, $100 million in an account that if we could find matching funds, we could
get it.
Utilize it to pay, the Medicaid costs that the hospital is running up, that GRMC is running up, that all the medical clinics are running up, but we just need to find the matching funds. And so
I don't know where we find it.
Of amnesty funds could go to paying, using that as matching, and that matching would pay off everybody and stimulate your economy.
We get a couple extra dollars to boot. Now I got to let you go because I only got a couple of minutes left. I got Mayor McDonald on the other line, and he's going to tell me whether or not we're going to have a carnival this year.
Okay, will do.
All right, I'll see you pretty soon, Beat. Talk to you. It's closing in on 8 o'clock, and I got a couple of minutes for you, Mayor McDonald. What's the word going to be today?
Oh, Ray, we're still waiting, and it's just the fact that we done it last year and it fell, and we don't want to fail this year again.
No, I'm with you. Nothing from the governor's office yet? I thought he was going to come down with call an emergency session of the legislature and hand them a copy of the legislation that would provide for at least games of skill and chance.
Yeah, I'm still waiting from the legal office. I've called last week to find out where the status is in the bill, and apparently we're still waiting. I have not received it. So.
Okay, let me see what I can find out in the next couple of minutes. I'll see if anybody's still talking to me over at the governor's office, and see what I can find out for you if they're going to step in and try to help, or just going to let you guys swing in the breeze.
Sure.
Okay, Miguel. I'll talk to you pretty soon. 8 o'clock in the morning. That's Mayor McDonald, and he's in charge of the carnival. And whether or not it happens this year has everything to do with whether there's an opportunity to make some changes to allow for. It seems to me the governor could probably do that with an executive order, right? And just say that all of that is now bingo as far as I'm concerned. So let him play. We're KUSG Hagåtña. Here's Fox News.
This is a Fox News alert. A shooting at a tech company headquarters. I'm Lisa Lacera. It happened a short time ago at YouTube's headquarters in San Bruno, California, in the San Francisco Bay Area.
There was a big commotion going on, coming from across the street, and a lady actually came and went into the Carl's Jr., and she'd actually been shot in the foot.
Police say they received multiple calls of shots fired.
We have 4 victims who have all been transported for gunshot-related injuries, and we have 1 subject who's deceased inside the building with a self-inflicted wound that at this time we believe to be the shooter, but we're still following up on that.
San Bruno Police Chief Ed Barberini, San Francisco General Hospital, says it has 3 patients, 1 in critical condition. The Dow rebounding somewhat from yesterday's losses, ending the day up 389 points. The Nasdaq gained 71, the S&P up 32.
After an exodus out of tech stocks on Monday, investors decided to jump back in, at least modestly. Shares of Amazon, though, did gain $20 to close at $1,392. Facebook stock remained flat, finishing at $156. Tesla stock rose nearly 6% after releasing more encouraging first-quarter production data on its Model 3 sedans. Tesla shares recovering today to $267. And music streaming company Spotify making its debut on the New York Stock Exchange through a direct listing. Shares of Spot closing the day at $149.
Ashley Webster with the Fox Business Network at the New York Stock Exchange. President Trump announcing a plan to use the military to protect the southern border.
The president didn't really go too far down the road to explain exactly what it was that he meant. We do know that James Mattis was over here at the White House. He's proposing some measures that the Department of Defense is looking at, including increasing security at the Barry M. Goldwater live fire range.
Fox's John Roberts at the White House. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Yes, money is something we should talk about and plan for and use to make life better. It's how we make our giant leap from where we are to where we want to be. So let's talk together and work together to check off shiny new kitchens, fully nested dorm rooms, and bucket lists with more countries than our passports can hold. Let's check them all off together. First Hawaiian Bank. It all starts with yes. Member FDIC.
Hey, it's your stomach again. Subway has all new signature wraps, and around the water cooler, the other stomachs can't stop talking about them. Chipotle Southwest steak and cheese, turkey, bacon, and guac, rotisserie-style chicken Caesar signature wraps. Listen, if I'm honest, as a talking stomach, I don't have a lot of life experience. But I do know one thing. These signature wraps are jam-packed with meat. So what are you waiting for? I'm growling over here. Subway. Make it what you want.
Oklahoma's largest school districts will shut down again tomorrow as teachers demand more funding for classrooms.
Oklahoma teachers plan a 3rd day of demonstrations, and there's no indication of when they will head back to the classroom. Teachers demanded a $10,000 raise and got a $6,100 raise. According to the Oklahoma governor, that's the highest in state history. But teachers complain they've been underfunded and underpaid for years. A specific demand is for the legislature to eliminate a tax exemption for capital gains. They believe that will generate enough revenue to fund public education. In Chicago, Mike Tobin, Fox News.
7 jurors have now been picked in Bill Cosby's sexual assault retrial. All the jurors seated today say they've read media reports about the case but haven't formed any opinion about his guilt or innocence. Twitter and Major League Baseball renew a streaming deal.
Baseball fans will be able to catch more Major League games for free this season, thanks to a renewed deal between the league and Twitter. The social media site will showcase weekly out-of-market matchups from April through September. Each week, the @MLB Twitter handle will announce which games will stream, each a simulcast of a participating team's local broadcast. The handle will also share real-time highlights. The move follows a similar deal with Facebook Watch, which will stream 25 weekday games this season. The first Twitter simulcast will kick off Thursday with the Texas Rangers facing the Oakland Athletics. I'm Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
A man who threw a banana peel at Dave Chappelle during a 2015 performance in Santa Fe, New Mexico, is suing the comedian and a man presumed to be his bodyguard. Christian Englander's lawsuit contends the bodyguard struck him twice as he was being restrained. Englander, who is white, said the banana attack wasn't racially motivated, but that he was angered by something Chappelle, who was black, said during the show. Englander had faced criminal charges, but those were dropped because Chappelle was not willing to participate in the prosecution. Lisa Lacera, Fox News Radio.
Many things on our island need attention. The Gutierrez-Bordallo team understands the importance of addressing problems and finding solutions to all quality-of-life issues. Gutierrez-Bordallo is committed to properly funding and staffing our customs agency. This first line of defense against drugs, terrorism, invasive species, and other crimes must be allowed to retain their customs users' fees without interference. And the financial relationship between GIAA and customs needs to be examined and equitably maintained.
I'm Carl Gutierrez, and I approve this message.
At Micronesia Renewable Energy, values matter. So all of their solar energy systems come with guarantees and the most value. No shortcuts, all quality. It's giving you that solar energy system at the best price. It's using highly efficient solar panels with typhoon-proven racking, built by highly skilled local technicians, so your system performs and saves you money. It's total peace of mind all the time. Not all solar companies are created equal. For experienced quality solar, it's MRE. Call 632-2613. MRE, the smarter choice.
We can't buy this house.
What?
It has 4 bathrooms. Just think of all the bathtub rings, water spots, and stains, plus the cleaning products I'll have to buy.
Didn't I tell you? The house comes with a non-electric Connecticut water treatment system. We'll have clean, soft water throughout the house, protect the water-using appliances, keep the tub, showers, and sinks looking like new, and help our skin, hair, and clothes look and feel great, too. The house even includes a Connecticut drinking water system.
A Connecticut system in the house? We'll take it.
American Water Tech. Smarter water. Better water. Call American Water Tech, 649-2301, or email info@americanwatertech.com.
In illness and in wellness, Calvo's Select Care is health care that is there for you. That's why over 80% of the Guam medical community places their trust and insures with us. We offer our members wellness and fitness programs for a healthier lifestyle and provide a comprehensive medical network on and off island to help members from unexpected illnesses. Contact Calvo's Select Care today for more information.
So you want to buy a house, but you don't know how much you could borrow. So what do? Well, you come to Bank Pacific and get pre-qualified. Sit down with one of our home loan specialists and let us see how much we can lend you so you know how much you can spend on your new home. Bank Pacific, where we're open to closing your loan in a hurry.
Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Equal housing lender, conditions apply. Come pre-qualified today.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 8 minutes past 8 a.m. this Wednesday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. Another meeting of the Special Economic Service yesterday at the legislature. During the session, Public Auditor Doris Flores Brooks said that her office is currently conducting 3 audits of the Department of Rev and Tax. One is on the tobacco tax, she said, and there are significant control lapses there, said Brooks. A real property tax audit is also underway, about which Brooks said, we see the significant amount of accounts receivables on the books at Rev and Tax, but not on the books at DOA. The third audit is on the gaming tax, and there too, said Brooks, they were behind in the posting of the manual returns to even know who did file and who did not file. The biggest challenge faced by Rev and Tax, said the public auditor, is that they are primarily a manual operation. More people are being used to input data as opposed to analyzing it, she said. Tourist arrival numbers expected to fall 7.8% to 1.44 million by the end of this fiscal year on September 30th. During yesterday's Special Economic Service meeting, Nico Fujikawa, Acting Director of Tourism Research at the Guam Visitors Bureau, announced the projection, saying that it's based on market trends and seat capacity. If that projection holds true, it would be about 100,000 fewer visitors than 2017's all-time record-breaking arrival numbers. Fujikawa pointed out that as of March 28th, Arrivals in the month of March were down 5.4% compared to the same month last year. He said March is usually the peak season along with August. However, he did note that there's been some progress in Japanese arrivals. For the first time in some months, he said, Japanese arrivals outpaced Korean arrivals in March. He explained that is due largely to over 40 charter flights from Japan to Guam in March. We'll have more news after this.
Relax, enjoy, and be greeted by the spectacular view of Hagåtña Bay when you visit the Point at the Sheraton Laguna Guam. Gaze into the beautiful sunset as you unwind to the music of Philip Garcia and Natasha on Wednesdays, Mama Shar and Nina on Thursdays, Philip Garcia and Luis Munia on Fridays, and Jack Larimer on Saturdays. Open daily from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. Happy hour from 5 to 8 p.m. with all cocktail drinks for $7. Receive a discount when you present your SPG card. Call Peter Yaban at 646-2222 for reservations at the Point at the Sheraton Laguna Guam Resort.
Looking for a reliable power system when the power goes out? Kohler Power Systems are quiet, reliable, and dependable. And they stay that way with regular service and support from the team at Morico Equipment because they also offer qualified after-sales service and support for Kohler Power Systems. Kohler generator systems are sold and serviced on Guam by Morico Equipment. You should call them now at 649-1946 or click moricoequipment.com.
11 minutes past 8 a.m. here at the Point. The death of an airman who was found lifeless in his temporary quarters on Anderson Air Force Base last week on Tuesday has been ruled a homicide. An autopsy performed at Naval Hospital Friday revealed that Airman Bradley Hale's neck had been slashed multiple times, according to Guam Chief Medical Examiner Dr. Aurelio Espinola. Espinola did not conduct the autopsy, but said he'd received the autopsy report that determined that Hale had sustained 3 cuts to his neck that resulted in him losing a considerable amount of blood. The Air Force Office of Special Investigations has confirmed that a person is in custody in connection with Hale's death. They have yet to say whether that person has been charged. An energized power line carrying 13,800 volts of electricity fell from the poles in Harmon yesterday and scorched the pavement of the roadway it fell on. It happened about 11:30 yesterday morning. Fortunately, the live wire did not strike anyone or any passing vehicle. GPA spokeswoman Patty Long Diego reports that the utility's underground high-voltage leader, Raymond Chito Soriano, was passing the area at the time and took quick action to notify GPA's power dispatcher of the situation. GPA Assistant General Manager of Operations Melinda Moffness said preliminary findings indicate that a bird crossed 2 high-voltage power lines, causing one to fall to the ground. GPA reminding the public that all fallen power lines should be considered live and everyone should avoid them to prevent severe injury or death. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray with some weather.
And it's on the screen right now. There is a picture of the bird culprit here that was able to knock down simply by flying into 2 wires. Did he hit them simultaneously? Did some kind of electrical bang go off and it killed the bird, knocked one of the wires off the gizmo, and that's why we had the situation that we had yesterday. There is a picture of the bird that you can see online right now at the Facebook Live. I'm going to change the picture because there's a couple of other things I want to show you as we get into our second string traffic. But first, partly cloudy skies and isolated showers. Expect northeast winds up to about 20 miles an hour today, decreasing 10 to 15 miles an hour tonight. Daytime highs 88 degrees and overnight lows of about 76 degrees. Sunset tonight 6:32, and a couple of alerts that you need to know about. Surf 8 to 10 feet, falling 7 to 9 feet by tonight. But there is a high surf advisory in effect along north-facing reefs until noon on Friday. Just FYI. And I want to go into traffic right now, if possible. We don't normally do traffic right after the weather report, but I'm looking at the traffic gizmos, and second string traffic is just ugly in a whole bunch of places. I want to see if I can bring up another WhatsApp picture for you so that you can see what's happening. The underpass has got a stalled vehicle there. It's a big, heavy piece of equipment as you make your way into that underpass area, and that seems to be snagging traffic through there. So if you're Route 16 trying to get to Mechechi, it's going to take you a little bit to get past that. Up the street from there is where we're also seeing some difficulties out in front of the Dededo Sports Complex. Traffic slowing down in both directions. Marine Corps Drive, Route 1, up here in the Upper Tumon and Harmon area is beginning to slow down. It should clear up by the time you get to the Kmart intersection, but it's still kind of ugly. Where are we at? 8, 10, and 16. Let me just take a quick look at that. Is it ugly there? Yes, it's ugly there. Inbound towards the intersection, oddly. And then southbound snags up until you get to the Golden Sea restaurant area. Traffic around the schools also starting to build up, and there was one other thing I wanted to look at here for you, and I don't think, no, it's not so bad. I was looking at to see if there was any problems on Route 3 getting onto Marine Corps Drive, but it's not. Traffic through Ordot, Pago is going to be okay. And traffic into the Agana area, not a problem unless you're headed towards the Agana Shopping Center and the courts. 8:15, that's news, weather, and traffic together here on The Point.
As we journey through the new year, we here at APL continue to find ways to better deliver our island's resources with innovative and cost-effective solutions, lending our helping hands by carrying your freight safely from the U.S. mainland or anywhere in our global network. We humbly honor the opportunities to continue to work and connect with you and your business. We are APL, and we are here for you.
The stations of Choice Broadcasting are celebrating April 2018 as National Earth Month in the first ever Upcycle Mascot Showdown. We've invited the public elementary 5th grade classes to set the example and build their school mascots completely out of recyclable material. Come down to the Chamorro Village Festival Huts on April 21st from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. for upcycle-themed games, chances to win prizes, and a special performance from Body Arts Dance Studio. Don't forget to stop by the Guam Girl Scouts booth to learn how you can make a cleaner, greener effort in your community. Support your school's mascot and be sure to vote for your favorite. Judges pick the first place winner. The public votes for the second place winner. Celebrate Earth Month with our students in the Upcycle Mascot Showdown. Brought to you by Leo Palace Resort Guam, Dr. Yang Dental, Denny's of Guam, Jams Media Productions, and The Point.
Wow.
The Ray Gibson Show. News to fill your mind. Talk to get it out. Turn it up. Now tell a friend.
Share, share. It's the Ray Gibson goodness on The Point, and if it was just me, that would be one thing, but we bring in the goodness of Michael Knight pressing the buttons and making and receiving phone calls on his side. Kevin Kerrigan from the Guam Daily Post with all the big stories, and I was wrong. I thought that reopening the Dededo pool and the Agana pool and the Paseo stadiums would be the last of the vestiges, but I've been reminded by an alert listener that we still got to wait about opening up the library on Saturdays. You remember that? That was another one?
True.
Yeah, you remember how we were inundated with phone calls from people that just upset about it, and I use the library every Saturday, and I can't believe they're doing this, and why are they so hateful and spiteful there? Why do they have to take it out? Oh, wait, we never got those. I thought we might, but we never did get around to doing that. Hey, you know what it's time for? Kids, it's time for sports on The Point. Wait, I gotta do did we change the camera angles? No, we did? Okay, good. It's time right now for sports, and we got Blake Watson to deliver all of the sports action. And yesterday I got a note from a friend. He says, you guys need to be talking about IIAAG girls soccer some more. And I said, okay, I'll ask Blake, because Blake has the splains on that. So what do you got, buddy?
Well, last time we checked in with them was not that long ago.
Yeah.
And if you remember, it was Ukadu Bulldogs. They were bested by the St. Paul Warriors 1-0, that in a tough physical battle. Now, to your friend's point and to his note, that was on the 29th of March, so it was like last weekend. We have not touched on it this week. However, I do have some results. My friend Paul Long coaches the girls over at my alma mater, the JFK Kennedy High School.
I heard.
And they found themselves down 1-0 on Monday afternoon to the preseason champs, the Simon Sanchez Lady Sharks. However,
what?
Kiara Lagrimas, she knocks in the equalizer, and then her teammate, sophomore, by the way, freshman and sophomore duo, this is the youngsters lifting up the JFK Lady Islanders. Aubrey Ngakta drilled the go-ahead goal. 57th minute is when that happened. They come back, Ray, 2-1 to win and improve to undefeated as they sit atop the IIAAG girls soccer standings 2 games won, 0 games lost. They will put their winning streak on the line as they don't have another game until, looks like Saturday morning.
Okay.
No, Saturday afternoon. They will host at JFK. They will host the two-time champs, the Indy Royals, headed up by Brianne LG. Meanwhile, tonight, or this evening, IIAG High School girls soccer will roll on. Get it? Roll on.
Right. Strong enough for a man, made for a woman.
St. John going to look to battle Ukadu at Ukadu. Ukadu looking to bounce back after they lost their last outing. And Academy got drilled by the champs, the Lady Royals, in their last outing. I think it was 8-0 as they lose. But they will take on rivals GW at GW. That is going to be this afternoon at 4:30. Going to be a good game, too, because Academy need a win, and GW helmed up by Helena Garcia, the rugby standout and all-around just really cool, awesome, bestest athlete going at GW right now. As
kind of everywhere.
As referenced by her. Yeah, she's the best rugby player in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
And
out of how many? Out of how many people?
800 athletes. I think like 71 teams.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
Good for Guam.
So there you go. And she is on the GW Lady Gecko team. So no doubt they will be looking to show up against their rivals, the Academy Cougars.
They're
like the sound
doing
effect.
sound
Nice.
effects. That's better than my sound effect.
It really is.
For the air quotes.
The mighty. Oh, that's a good
That's
one. Though.
not bad though.
No.
I mean, that, you know.
Wow.
Hey.
Hey,
There
dude.
you go.
Ooh.
Is that, I even backed up a little bit.
Oh,
Did that scare you, Kevin?
Tumwater.
Get out the leash.
I said Tumwater, so we make that noise every time I say it.
Like Tigger.
Tumwater. I don't know what it is. It's just funny in my head. So
So that's what I got for local high school girls. You asked, and
I
I
appreciate
delivered.
it. I
Yes,
appreciate
and meanwhile, while we're still on it, tomorrow's games, Indy looking to keep their winning streak alive. The champions will face off against St. Paul at St. Paul. All these 4:30 tomorrow afternoon kickoffs. Southern making the long drive up to Teedson High to face off against the Lady Titans, and Sanchez, the Sharks, who, by the way, struggling in the infancy of the season. Now, they were preseason champs.
they don't have a sound effect. We should have a sound effect for the Sharks.
Do you have the Sharknado sound effect? So the preseason champs, the Lady Sanchez Sharks, they won the preseason tournament, but they have fallen to 0-2. They will look to get back on track as they will make the swim to Harvest to face off against the Lady Eagles. All those games for tomorrow.
All right, check the lights. One of the things that used to just annoy me to pieces was going to all the different games and all the different schools, and everybody has got their peculiarities with their courts, and it's the lights that gets to me, especially when you've got one side of the court that's dark and the other side is bright. Your eyes got to adjust as you go back and forth.
The interesting thing too about soccer is that it's everybody's field is a little bit different. Some field has a little like flooding issue in the corner, so it's a little bit more lumpy. So when you come to terrain, it even regardless of the lights, the terrain itself is just going to be like there's holes or divots or.
What's odd though, in a story that we're covering this morning, the Daily Post, we got word from the governor's office that they're going to be opening the Agano swimming pool, which is great. I mean, I never understood the idea of closing the Agano swimming pool because it's actually a revenue center. People pay to use the pool. Right. So why would we close something that people are actually paying for in real times? It didn't make it through my mathematical filter here on the program. But they're reopening that. They're talking about when they're done with the renovations at Dedido, reopening that.
Right. And that one's got like a slide and like a little water park kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
A little feature.
Yeah, but a lot of little kids that go there, so I don't go in the water because everybody pees in it.
It's warm. Some warm water up there.
I stand up and pee in it. But anyway, so no pants Thursday, yay. But they're talking about before the end of April being able to start using the Paseo Stadium in its entirety, according to the release that we have.
And they're going to kick the pigeons out. By the way, ethically, yeah, they're not. I know that my buddy John Kramer's gotten some offers with guys with slingshots, guys with small caliber bullets.
Yeah. Pellet
They're
guns.
going to throw some rocks up there, but John Kramer said, no, we're just going to put spikes up there and woo them away. but which is fine. But and that all coincides with the fact that
Nothing sportsmanlike about that.
no, you're right. But that all coincides with what you're saying is that GML is looking to return to like you said, mid-April.
Yeah, but it's not just the pigeons that are up there. I mean, there's spalling concrete that had fallen from the ceiling down to the ground area.
Breaking up some of the chairs.
Might hit you in the head while you're sitting. I guess everybody, it's helmet night at the Guam Major League. We'll watch
Fix that up with some JB Weld.
All right. Do I have is Chris on the line? Because I want to make sure that I've got all of the important things going on. Big running events this weekend, and obviously we spent a lot of time talking about the United Guam International Marathon because I'm in it. Right, but Saturday, in fact, yesterday we were at the Gatorade station in Tumon.
I saw that on social media.
Guy came up, he ran up, and he was all breathless. He says, "Could you tell me about the 5K on Saturday?" And so he's obviously interested in the thing, and we sent him over to Chuck E. Cheese to go and get signed up for it. Krista Gazer's on the line, and you've got some details on that. Good morning, Chris.
Hi, morning, Ray.
Welcome to the.
I don't have any clever sound effects. So I'm just going to tell you.
What you say? We'll loan you our Tumwater sound effect.
I like it. I like it a lot. That's perfect.
So what is this? The third now Chuck E. Cheese 5K?
Ray, the fourth. We're rocking and rolling. Wow. But actually, our run is on Saturday, April 14th. So not this coming Saturday, but the following Saturday.
Ah, okay. All right. Well, you know what? That's even better because that means that everybody that's going to be running in the GIM will be able to participate in yours as well.
That's right. Every year we have been partnered with the GIM, and this year we're separated by one weekend. So
absolutely perfect then, because we encourage young people and the basic customer base of Chuck E. Cheese to begin that process of learning about exercise, learning about competition, and going out and having fun.
Right, absolutely. And so now, this being our fourth year, we look at gaining ground every year and having more and more kids participate. So we actually do a 2K and a 5K.
Cool.
So we have a great route, an easy route for the little ones for the 2K where they never have to cross a major street. And everything starts and ends at Chuck E. Cheese's Guam.
How do we sign up, and tell me about the prizes? I imagine there might be some prizes that involve tokens and some of the things on the other side of the glass that I might not be able to get my hands on with tokens and the receipts.
Yeah, we're really excited. This year, we actually have the main raffle prize as a flyaway giveaway with accommodations to Manila.
Oh, let's do that. Let's do that, sure.
Prize, but we also have prizes as far as, stuff that the kids really look forward to, and that's birthday party packages. We give away all kinds of tokens and food coupons and things like that. A trip in the Ticket Blaster where they stand in the booth and the tickets fly all over and they get to grab those. So, yeah, it's really a family-friendly event. It's really geared towards the little ones and trying to get them motivated. We have really cool dry fit T-shirts this year for the first 500. So we're really excited. Yeah, and thanks for letting me talk about it.
Oh, no. It's a big deal. And like I said, and big enough that somebody was asking me about it. So it's not this Saturday. It's the next Saturday on the 14th. And it'll be at Chuck E. Cheese. There's a 2K for the kids, 5K for everybody else. And 2K is a perfect starting distance for people that might now just be getting into it because they're, they're not normally runners or, they're smokers or,
Or they're just walkers.
Right.
Lazy.
Lazy. So 2K, it's about a mile, and you get to participate with the kids. It's just embarrassing when you're a grown up and the kids are beating you bad. So you guys,
we always have those.
Right?
We always have those adults that can't believe how fast their kids finish.
So how do we sign them up? How do we get people signed up? I mean, is this just go to Chuck E. Cheese or Hornet or Goodies or what?
Go to Chuck E. Cheese. At this point, it's just at Chuck E. We have the registration form set up, and you can get your numbers there, and we can give you a little bit more information and also fill out your entry form for the grand prize raffle. So we are letting you, get a head start on the raffle to give you more chances to win. Then we also have, I wanted to mention, we do youth medal ceremony. For the 5K, we have 3 different age groups. So we have 5 to 7, 8 to 10, and 11 to 13 finishers. First, second, and third place get medals.
Oh, wow.
2K.
Okay, in the 2K, we're giving out medals.
In the 2K, we give out medals, yes. And then in the 5K, it's the normal Guam Running Club divisions, youth 13 and under, juniors, open, submaster, master, senior, grandmaster, and NUMCO.
I am with you on the whole thing. Do me a favor, if you've got some other stuff going on associated with it, because we've got plenty of time to talk about it now between now and the 14th, just shoot it over to me. I think you and I are WhatsApp buddies somewhere, so make sure I can get it so we can talk about it on the point, and then I'll make sure that Blake and the guys over at Boss have a copy of it as well.
Awesome. That's perfect, Ray. Thank you so much.
No problem, Chris. Listen, I'm going to let you run. I'll talk to you pretty soon. See, get it to 5K target, so I'm going to let you run.
I'm going to let you run.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Hugs and kisses. See you at King's. It's 8:29. That's the only time I see her, by the way, is random Sundays at King's.
Just real quick, because we're not going to talk about it at all ever again until this time next year, but shout out to everybody, if there are anybody's who got Villanova as the national champion, because they did it. Yes, the men's basketball championship done. NCAA in the books. March Madness finished. The national champions for the second time in 3 years. Villanova, as they cap off their dominant 4-year run with another title. No team in Division I basketball history has been as good as the Wildcats since 2014. They're built to last, Ray, and they win 79-62 over the Big Blue Michigan Wolverines. That happened yesterday, so there you go. Big national stuff.
I've shared it among all of my friends on Facebook, and if things go south in the program, I may post it up on the Facebook Live as pictures of me, Chris Barnett, and a couple of other people at the Gatorade hydration station yesterday. Yeah, there's another one coming up tomorrow night if you're going to be doing some training.
You shouldn't let them steal your
area.
microphone from me, though.
What's that?
You shouldn't let them take the microphone from you, though. Don't they know?
Right. It's all right. But the important thing is there's no more online registration for the GIM. That's all. That ended at midnight last night. You can still sign up. It might be more expensive, but you'll be able to do it at the expo on
I was about to say, that's the best.
Friday.
That's my favorite part, because I'm not a runner. Now, if you're a runner, I get that the marathon, obviously the big event's your favorite part. But my favorite part is the finish, when everybody gets to go into the beach, into the water. And then there's also the day before the expo, because the expo is always cool. Always cool stuff.
The expo is where you're going to be able to sign up, and that is an important thing to remember as we get through this. 8:30 in the morning. I appreciate your time here today.
Yes. Thank you.
I'll see you again.
I'm going to go hunt Easter eggs with my daughter.
I think there might be one in your beard.
There's always.
8:31.
Shout out to Keisha. I've got an appointment coming.
There you go. 8:30. Oh, at our place?
Yes, at our place.
Yeah.
She's been busy, which is why it's gotten a little unruly. It's not me. I've been trying to make an appointment, but tomorrow.
Yeah, Ashley's my girl.
I know.
Ashley's,
Ashley. I like
Ashley's
Ashley.
my girl.
She's my longtime friend. Known each other for a long time. Shout out to Ashley Titano.
All right, buddy. I'm going to let you run because it's 8:30 in the morning. Believe it or not, we got to jump from this into headlines. Kevin Kerrigan in the Guam Daily Post.
Have a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 32 minutes past 8 a.m. In the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning, a former ramp agent for Micronesia Air Cargo has pleaded guilty to mail theft and admitted that he and co-workers stole numerous items that were intended to be delivered to the CNMI. Brandon Ward O'Malley was charged in September of 2017 and signed an agreement the same day pleading guilty to theft of mail. His plea agreement, however, was just unsealed in district court yesterday. O'Malley had worked as a ramp agent for Micronesia Air Cargo and was responsible for loading cargo onto flights that transported U.S. mail from Guam to the CNMI. The stolen items were valued at over $3,000. O'Malley is scheduled to be sentenced on July 2nd. 2 weeks before he was scheduled to go to trial, Joseph Pangilinan has signed a plea agreement admitting to receiving child pornography. According to court documents, Pangilinan admitted he used a computer and other devices to connect to internet service at his Manila home and used BitTorrent software to knowingly download thousands of images of child pornography. He was arrested following an investigation by Homeland Security special agents. Jury trial was scheduled to begin April 19th, but Pangilinan signed the plea agreement yesterday. He is scheduled to make his formal guilty plea before a judge today. And finally, the Agana Pool will reopen this Friday. That word from the governor's office this morning. According to a release from Adelup, the Agana Pool will resume normal operational hours beginning Friday, April 6th. Those operating hours are Tuesday through Friday from 6 a.m. until 8 p.m., Saturday and Sunday from 9 in the morning to 6 in the evening, closed on Monday, of course, for regular maintenance. The statement from the governor's office says that they are also now working with the Department of Parks and Recreation on reopening the entirety of the Paseo Stadium and the Dededo Pool once renovations there have been completed. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
iConnect time in the studios. It's 8:34. Connect for longer, for less with iConnect's Push to Talk network.
Don't wait another day and waste another dollar. You can start saving today. At Guahan Insurance Services, we are here to help protect your investment and save you money. We offer insurance advising for business, car, and home insurance. So come and visit us at our new office at Camacho Landmark Center at Marine Corps Drive in Tamaning, and let us show you that you can count on us for all your insurance needs. Call 475-1162.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. Hafiday, my name is Jesse Cruz from the village of Maina, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voices of our community and sharing thoughts about issues that affect all of us. It all boils down to our people and our land. Protehi Tanomo. Protect your land. When it comes to your family land, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
Triple J says yes. Zero down? Yes. 1.9% financing? Yes. Easy trade-in? Yes. No payments for 90 days? Yes. We'll have you saying yes, too, to these amazing deals. Like our big boy truck, the Ford F-150 at only $217 per paycheck. Or the top safety pick Mazda CX-5 Sport at only $194 per paycheck. Or turn heads in the Mazda 3 Sport or the sleek and sophisticated Kia Soul, both for only $129 per paycheck. Visit us online at triplejguam.com. Some conditions apply. See dealer for details. Triple J, customers first.
On April 14th, join Bank of Guam for the first ever Hagana City EFIT Run and Block Party to benefit the Guam Cancer Care and the American Cancer Society Guam. This event begins with a sunset run to our capital, starting at 5 p.m. at the Chamorro Village, and the excitement continues at our block party with food trucks, beer garden, live entertainment, and the Greatest Beast competition, and a fun-filled kids zone. The Hagana City EFIT Run and Block Party, Saturday, April 14th, brought to you by Bank of Guam, member FDIC.
Hey, it's your stomach again. Subway has all new signature wraps, and around the water cooler, the other stomachs can't stop talking about them. Chipotle Southwest steak and cheese, turkey, bacon, and guac, rotisserie-style chicken Caesar signature wraps. Listen, if I'm honest, as a talking stomach, I don't have a lot of life experience. But I do know one thing. These signature wraps are jam-packed with meat. So what are you waiting for? I'm growling over here. Subway. Make it what you want.
Here's the theme for right now, traffic. I got the traffic gizmo all fired up and ready to go, and it looks like most of the issues that were plaguing motorists earlier today have just about all dried up. I'm not seeing anything that looks like there's going to be any significant snags for you. I don't see any more stalled heavy equipment on Route 16, although it might take a second for some of that rollover traffic to dissipate, if you will. Marine Corps Drive is Marine Corps Drive at this time of day. There's not much that is happening there that is going to be any cause to write home. You'll see traffic, but it's not going to be heavy traffic, just a little bit heavier than it normally is around this time of day. I'm trying to figure out why we've got so much southbound traffic snagging up in front of the building here. Is one of the guys from the radio stations out waving or something, or just
I cannot confirm or deny that.
Okay, well, we'll go and take a look at it. Watch out for some additional traffic on Marine Corps Drive around this place in Upper Tumon, because the cars have made it here now. It's 8:37, 8:38 in the morning. News and weather and traffic together here on The Point.
At Micronesia Renewable Energy, values matter. So all of their solar energy systems come with guarantees and the most value. No shortcuts, all quality. It's giving you that solar energy system at the best price. It's using highly efficient solar panels with typhoon-proven racking, built by highly skilled local technicians, so your system performs and saves you money. It's total peace of mind all the time. Not all solar companies are created equal. For experienced quality solar, it's MRE. Call 632-2613. MRE, the smarter choice.
This time, let's hear it from the first KFC female colonel.
Smoky Mountain Barbecue. Fried chicken so crispy and sweet. That crispy fried chicken. All right, stop. I can't do this. I thought if I dressed up like a country music legend, it would help KFC sell my delicious new Smoky Mountain Barbecue.
KFC, it's finger licking good.
It's a rockabilly theme. We need to play a rockabilly like this every day. There needs to be something like this with the energy and the get up and go every morning when while we're doing this Ray Gibson show here on the Point. So it's just me now. Blake's gone. Kevin's gone to his grown-up job over at the Guam Daily Post, and so it's me and Mike to get the phone. Call him, would you? 888-8255. Again, that is 888-8255, and that'll get you into the studio. We can talk about whatever it is that you want to talk about. What is ailing you? What is making you crazy at this point? And if nothing is making you crazy, I haven't done my job. Come to think of it. All right. Well, let me see what I can work on here. Where'd the guy go? Okay. We'll get back into the table. You know, there was a thing I wanted to talk with Blake about, but we were running long on a few other things. There's a book that is out that I want you to get for your children. I don't want you to download it. Kids need books. We need to teach kids again about paper. Are you having that problem? I was talking with my daughter the other day. She said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm reading a book." I said, "Where?" And she pointed her phone at me. What? It's not the same, is it? Sorry, it's a stubborn old guy thing. There needs to be the feel of holding the paper. Or when somebody steps into the room and wants to start talking to you, you can put your thumb, your fingernail on the sentence that you were on. And say, hold on, I'll get back to you on that. Just one of those things. But there's a book. And I'm saying get it for the kids, but actually this might be educational for grown-ups, too. It's called A Book About Which Animals Fart. Grizzly bears, dogs, even cockroaches do it. A new illustrated book out today. It lists a number of animals and offers some insight into animal digestion. Well, isn't that amazing? Yeah, I got you. We'll see what we can find out. Really, nothing from the guy. All right, but I got. I'm going to screw up her name again. It's Oil. Good morning from the governor's office. Good morning, Oil.
Morning. How are you?
You know, I'm okay. I'm trying to follow up on something that Mayor McDonald kind of turned me on to. Is you know they're talking about not having the carnival over at for Liberation this year.
You know, yeah. So they had a meeting with the mayors. That is, had a meeting with the governor about a week and a half ago or so.
Right.
Yeah, and you know, the governor, you know, wanted to see what we can do to help. So he has actually put some folks together, you know, working with the chief of staff, several cabinet members, to look at ways to put together a Liberation Day carnival that's maybe a little bit outside the box. I know that mayors were wanting to sort of resume some of the kind of Beto and Play Red, right?
The games of skill, games of chance. Yeah, not everything except the casino. I guess what they're saying is just reset it to what it was before the casinos.
Yeah, but you know, the governor wanted to respect the decision of the senators, and who, you know, they voted on this unanimously, and you know, and we always have that sort of controversy that comes up, and you know, and he goes, you know, this is Liberation Day Carnival. This is Liberation Day, and you know, let's just make it something fun, something that people can enjoy, bring their families to, and so we're looking at different ways, kind of thinking outside of the box a little bit, to put something together that really, you know, does draw a crowd and allows people to to enjoy our sense of community, particularly in that time of the year.
What'd you come up with?
So we've got the committee is actually doing a briefing with the governor tomorrow. So this is a little bit of a sneak presentation, I suppose. But we're just looking at ways to capitalize on the the festive Wednesday night market at Chamorro Village.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've seen it, but on Thursday evenings, you got a bunch of food trucks that go up to Skinner Plaza.
Oh, I've done that.
Kind of an organic thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Where one or two started and then others joined in. So we're looking, where there's discussions with them to see what we can do, throughout the week, as we have these amazing sort of things that are already going on, and capitalizing on those and kind of building on to that.
I like the Thursday night thing. It's just we need more lights over at Skinner Plaza because sometimes I'm not sure what the hell I'm eating. I mean, I know what it is when I'm at the food truck, and then I sit down and there's a you put the thing in your mouth, you can't really see it, and I'm not sure is that gristle, is it fat, is it meat, is it are we still talking meat, are we still, I don't even know what this is, so maybe a little bit more light over at Skinner would be great.
Sure that I talk to the committee about that.
Please.
So we're looking at cultural performances. And possibly even something like a couple venues where you have open mic nights, where you have open mics, and so people can come up and
poetry slam. We'll do poetry slamming.
They can flow. They can, or if they got it, they can share their singing talents,
but
do drum solos.
Okay, so I hear what you're saying, and what it sounds like is no on the games of skill, games of chance, and for a lot of people that was just as big an attraction as the food, as the the old rusty rides that we've got out there, and so I think the concern from among the mayors, I can't obviously speak for them, but I think among the concerns is, will those things that the governor's office is proposing to try to help out, will those be enough of an attraction so that they can bring on the vendors that would be doing some of the other things, other food vendors, other ride vendors? Because at this point it doesn't sound like absent the games, they're just going to have a repeat of last year's, and obviously they're unhappy with the numbers they hit last year.
Right, and this is why we've got different agency heads looking at them. So GVB is among them, GITA, we've got Airport Authority. They're all kind of, these are folks who put together the Micronesian fairs.
Yeah.
These are the folks who put together all these different these different community events with that don't necessarily have those beto. So it's again we're trying to do something that's that.
So let me. For me, the perspective, my thoughts here, Oil, is that it sounds like it'd be fun to do any other time, any other night. But for Liberation Carnival, there are some expectations that people are going to have about some of these old traditional, cultural games of skill, games of chance. So I would submit that the governor actually doesn't have a hard time, jumping up in the face of the legislature. And I'd go back and tell all 15 people they made a mistake. And I would call everything. I'd call everything bingo, because that's still allowed, and just bingo, beto, bingo, color game, bingo, whatever, and we're gonna do this, because I think it was a mistake in the first place. If they wanted to go after the casinos, then they should have just excised that. But getting rid of everything is a problem for them.
Yeah, that definitely was an issue last year. I mean, particularly doing it right before.
And I wasn't on the air to save the carnival, but I'm here now, and I'm just.
Here you are now.
Where's the governor? The governor doesn't have a problem disrespecting the decisions of the legislature. We just went through. For God's sakes, you parked a hearse in front of the legislature.
Working together with the legislature. Working together, Ray.
I'm sorry. I don't know that I'd. I mean, I can go to a food truck thing pretty much anywhere. In fact, there's people doing food trucks in front of their houses now. Have you seen that one on Route 15? And there's one on the way down to the Hilton. There's people that are going, I don't need to be down at Skinner Plaza. I'll do this right here on the road. Come on, hot dog.
Oh, man, but it's so much fun. I've gone down there, and it's fun to, to kind of go and you hopscotch among you.
You're right. That is it's
like a little bit something here, and then you get some donuts over here, you can get a slushie here.
I hate lines, though. I hate lines, and I hate waiting for my food. I just want to be able to just.
Ray, there's no pleasing you.
Where's the 55 and over line for the food trucks on Thursday nights? That's what I want. Okay,
That's why you have the kids. Line up while you sit down.
So here's I got to talk to Chris Duenas from Housing. They've Housing just hit a home run, and you'll send out a press release on that. But I wanted to get Chris Duenas from Housing on the line to talk about that in a second. So just tell the governor that I said it would be okay if we called everything bingo, so we can have the Beto, the color games, and the Pisoy, and all of the fun games over at the carnival, and then people will go, and the vendors will be happy, and the mayors will be happy.
I will absolutely let him know.
Okay, I appreciate it. Boyle, I'll talk to you pretty soon. Have a terrific morning. So, do you get it? Where they're trying to say, no, we're still not going to do it that way. And I'm going, no, I want you to do it that way. I want you to make it so that I'll go to the carnival. But this idea that, we're hand in hand with the legislature, like I said, lady, you parked a hearse in front of the legislature for 2 weeks. There's loyal opposition in both directions. It is what it is. 10 away from 9 o'clock, and I got a note here a little bit ago about, as I said, a major home run for Guam Housing Corporation. I want to get Chris Duenas on the line to talk about that and describe it to my listeners so I don't have to. Good morning, Chris.
Half a day, Ray Gibson.
Half a dude, how you doing there? Man,
I've been enjoying the show. I catch it when I can in between meetings and work, and I'm enjoying it. It's a great show, Ray.
Dude, I haven't seen you since Rudy was back in town. What you been up to since, what is that, months ago, right? It's like summer.
Months ago. Mostly work, a little bit of fishing here and there, and when I get some time, but just family time, fishing and working.
No. Tell me about, because we can talk about this whole Guam Housing thing for the rest of the hour here, but tell me what you have been catching on the fishing.
Well, a few weeks ago, we did really good out by a buoy named Old Noah, or called Old Noah, and we picked up quite a few large wahoo and mahi. And, prior to that, we were doing pretty good with tuna as well up on Rhoda Banks and 45-degree Banks. So we've been doing okay. It's been fun. Water's been really rough in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
We haven't been out, but maybe this weekend.
Yeah, well, hurry before the price of gas goes up again.
Yeah, that does hurt.
Yeah, I was going to say,
I still owe Manny some money.
Yeah, what does that cost to fill up the tank on the boat, especially if you're going up to the banks?
I don't want to put a damper on the fun that's out there. I don't want to think about that.
I guess. We just whatever it's going to take, put enough to get us out and enough gasoline to get us back, and we'll be okay. So I'm going to make this offer to you. If you ever run into a situation where you have too much fish, and there's no way I can eat it all. Do me a favor, clean it, cut it, fillet it, and put it on a tray with some wasabi and soy sauce and bring it by. And
I'll even Kelegwin some. I have to come by and see that.
I'll take care of the rest of it. So as I said, I got a note about something big happening with our friends over at the Guam Housing Corporation. For the 5th consecutive year in a row, you have received a what?
Oh man, Ray, it's very humbling and it's an honor to be here with this team. We've now hit our 5th year in a row, unqualified clean audit. And no material weaknesses or deficiencies, and that's a major accomplishment, really, for Guam Housing and for the government of Guam. In terms of our part and what we're doing, and the team and as well as our board. I'm sure you know our chairman Frank Florg and our board of directors. They're really a great group of folks. They keep us on the straight and narrow and hold us accountable. For the funds we manage, and so it's a great accomplishment for Guam Housing, and I'm just so proud of the team, the management team, and everybody that worked hard to get this honor, actually.
Well, there's a couple of points that you're apparently very humble all of a sudden and not mentioning it, so I'll do it for you. There's a couple of points. It's not just the clean audit, right? It's also the fact that you've increased your revenues and decreased your expenses.
That's right. It's that one's been a little tough, but we got to do what we got to do. Guam Housing, just as a refresher, maybe we give out we issue loans. Our clientele are typically pretty high risk because they get denied from a conventional bank, but they're still they're still credit worthy, and we're kind of their second chance and their opportunity to build their credit, or if they don't have much credit, an opportunity if they get denied by the bank and they have, real estate, or they're going to purchase a house or build, we issue those type of loans. As such, though, it is a high-risk pool, and so we've had to go and get a little tougher on delinquency and stuff. So we've done a lot of collection, but we do a lot of counseling as well. We bring folks in and we pair them up with folks from the real estate industry. Some people, when they're in a situation where they're about to lose their home, they're just not thinking clear anymore, and a lot of times they have equity still, and so we can pair them up with a real estate agent and sell it, and they can actually, pay off their loan and recover some money and get back on their feet again. So we do everything that we can, but when we have to, we do we've been clearing out a number of delinquencies, so we've increased our revenue. We've also increased our distributions thanks to the legislature a few years ago, giving Guam Housing the dedicated funding source of its cheated funds. Those are bank accounts that go dormant. And so we're able to issue a lot of grants for first-time home buyers, families that are struggling, but they need that closing cost. And so up to $10,000 we give out grants. And so we issued a number of those, and that really helped our revenue as well, and helped us book some loans as well on that. So, yeah, it's just been a really good year, good 5 years for Guam Housing, but definitely a good year this year of kind of righting the ship financially.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, and because I try to advocate for, and there's so many of them in this community where mom works and dad works, and they're looking for a starter home out there, but between the money that both mom and dad are making, it's still not enough to get through the 80% or the loan qualifications that many lenders have out there, and unfortunately, the lenders are not in a position to take on in what some people are going to call a risk. So it's nice that there's some place for them to go. And I tell you what, if you're listening to the broadcast and I just described your family, then find Chris and the guys over at Guam Housing and talk to them about getting into some of these programs. I mean, it ain't welfare, guys. I mean, it's an opportunity for you to take advantage of some of these programs that are out there that will get you into and it's still your house. It's your place. You still paying the mortgage on it. You still got to mow the yard and take out the trash. So get in front of Chris and some of the guys over at Guam Housing and find out how they can help you.
Absolutely, Ray, and just another plug along those lines. Many of the folks you're describing as well have, Chamorro Land Trust property, and we are the only financial institution that does, mortgages for Chamorro Land Trust. Of course, it's not fee simple property, so the conventional banks don't do it. So, over the years, we've done about $5.5 million in loans on Chamorro Land Trust, and so we will be also unveiling soon another affordable housing model. We have a contractor that's been qualified with us that can actually build a one-bedroom. It's about a 700 square foot house for about $58,000, $60,000. So we're going to be unveiling that as well, and that we'll probably be looking at our clientele at Chamorro Land Trust, to avail themselves of a very sturdy home, very modest but very sturdy, and a roof over their head.
Yeah. Now, trying to think of all of these places. Some of these land trust properties are kind of landlocked and utility locked, if you will.
Yeah,
so you'd still need to be someplace where you've got access to the basics, right?
Yeah, but you'll be surprised, Ray. There is there is a number of lots that are ready to build, shovel ready, if you will. So yeah, and a lot of times too, if some folks are not moving on their properties that are ready to go, there is an opportunity sometimes to swap as well. So we work with Chamorro Land Trust on that. We're building a home right now where the recipient fell on some hard times, and so basically we're going to complete it and then turn around and put it up and offer it to those who are eligible, and basically they can swap their current lot that they have to get the financing on that new house. So
there's so many other conversations that we can have. You guys going to be doing an expo soon? Because it seems to me we did this before under the old jurisdictions, the old management at Guam Housing, where you'd bring in some of the contractors out there that would be showing off. We build everything around here out of concrete and rebar because that's what the bank is going to approve. But there are all kinds of other new construction technologies, new construction techniques, and new construction materials that will stand up to typhoons and earthquakes and tidal waves that you ought to be able to talk about and to have to build as extensions and the like on your properties. You guys going to be doing any expos with the contractors anytime soon?
Actually, Cesar and I, the very capable Cesar Villanueva, my special assistant, we've been talking about that, and hopefully we're looking at something this summer. We're kicking it around. We're going to talk to the Agora folks and some others and see if we can pull that off. But yeah, that's a great idea, and we're actually working on something like that right now.
Yeah, because I can't tell you the number of times you go, gee, I want to build, I want to put something, a second story on the house, and they say, well, you can't do that because they didn't build it with the right kind of foundation, the right kind of footings, and all of that stuff. But I say, well, it doesn't work with concrete, but are there other materials that I can put on the roof of the house that will meet all of the requirements of the banks and the insurance companies? And the answer is yes. You just got to get these guys all in the same room. We'll work on that pretty soon. We'll work on that soon.
Sounds good, Ray. Actually, the building system that I was just discussing earlier is that. It's a metal frame. They have an extra thick slab, so they don't use the foundation. They pour a really strong slab. It's 3 insurance companies have signed off on the building model. It's out of Korea. And so it is an alternative building system, and so we're looking to unveil that soon.
All right. Well, the other question, and unfortunately we don't have time for it, is it looks like we're moving in the right direction and positive news coming out of the USCIS and the district court on labor. So all of these things that we're talking about, all this construction that we need to get done, we might actually have some of the labor to get it going. I'll talk to you pretty soon, Chris, and congratulations on the audit.
Caligan coming soon.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. That's what makes me happy in this program is when we get a chance to talk to people and get the facts on the issues, and then they offer me food. This is KUSG, Hagutnya, The Point. And now, Fox News Live.
This is a Fox News alert. A shooting at YouTube's headquarters. I'm Lisa Lacera. 4 people hurt. The suspected shooter dead at the tech company's San Francisco Bay Area campus. Fox's Jessica Rosenthal has more live.
Lisa, San Bruno Police Chief Ed Barberini says when they responded to reports of an active shooter, at first they found 1 gunshot victim, then a second person.
We did locate a victim with what we believe to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound. It's a female. But the investigation is still ongoing before we can put all the pieces together.
And then they found 2 other victims at a nearby business. Barberini said it was chaotic, but they do have a specific group of witnesses they are wanting to talk to. San Francisco General Hospital officials say they received 3 victims, 1 in fair, 1 in serious, and 1 in critical condition. 2 women and 1 man all received gunshot wounds. The president has tweeted his thoughts and prayers along with a thank
Just made this statement.
We'll be working with China. We'll be negotiating with China. Again, our relationship is very good with China, and we intend to keep it that way. But we have to do something to seriously relieve that trade deficit. We can't have a $500 billion a year trade deficit.
The Trump administration recommending 25% tariffs on $50 billion in Chinese imports to protest allegations of theft of American technology by Beijing. Some of the products include industrial robots and telecommunications equipment. The tariffs won't take effect before a public comment period ends next month. New York State announcing a lawsuit against the Trump administration's plan to add a citizenship question to the next census.
Moving away from a federal official from the Trump administration knocking on your door to ask about your citizenship, that's pretty much of a no-brainer. So we think the evidence will support us. We also think it's a matter of common sense.
Attorney General Eric Schneiderman, California had earlier announced plans to sue. Fox News, fair and balanced.
For over 55 years, Community First has served our island as a full-service financial institution. And now, we're proud to introduce the new Community First Student-Run Credit Union, open in Manila on Route 10, Guam's first student-run financial institution, which means it's operated by college students like us, ready to serve all our members, existing and new. We're just down the road from UOG and GCC. Community First Guam Federal Credit Union, now open in Manila. This credit union is federally insured by NCUA.
Come out for the
the 4th annual Chucky Run and Fun 5K, 2K, and Flyaway giveaway. Join us Saturday, April 14th at Chuck E. Cheese's Guam. Show at 5:30 and go at 6 a.m. T-shirts, medals, and other cool prizes, refreshments, and indoor activities after the races. Grand prize drawing for all participants is a trip package for 2 to Manila. Register at Chuck E. Cheese's Guam. $8 for students, $12 for adults, and Group of 4 Super Saver for just $35. The 4th annual Chuck E. Run and Fun 5K, 2K, and Flyaway giveaway. See you there.
5 years after the Boston Marathon bombing, officials making sure security is tight for the event 2 weeks from today.
Massachusetts Emergency Management Director Kurt Schwartz says it won't be hard to find police on race day, April 16th.
Almost 5,000 uniform and plainclothes law enforcement officers.
Police and first responders are using lessons from the deadly bombing at the race 5 years ago, the recent Las Vegas shooting tragedy, and terror acts using vehicles to fine-tune security. Boston FBI agent Hank Shaw says the goal is to make it a fun, safe day.
And we are laser focused on finding and stopping any potential threat.
The marathon course winds through 8 cities. As of now, no credible threats to the race exist. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
Questions about the future of EPA Administrator Scott Pruitt.
Just last night, President Trump called Scott Pruitt to say, "We've got your back." But this afternoon, a less than enthusiastic take on his EPA administrator in the cabinet room.
Do you support Scott Pruitt?
I hope he's going to be great.
Pruitt has been under increased scrutiny for his spending habits. The House Oversight Committee is looking into reports he spent thousands of dollars to fly first class and stay in swanky hotels. Pruitt is also facing questions about his housing arrangement after he reportedly rented a condo partially owned by the wife of an energy lobbyist. Pruitt has defended his travel spending as necessary for the job. In Washington, Rachel Sutherland, Fox News.
A new study suggests a big financial loss may shorten your life. Middle-aged Americans who went through a sudden economic blow are more likely to die during the following years than those who don't. About 1 in 4 people in the study face what researchers dubbed wealth shock, or a loss of 75% or more in net worth over 2 years. After analyzing 2 decades of data on nearly 9,000 people and controlling other health risks, they found suffering a big financial loss was tied with a 50% greater risk of dying. Lisa Lacera, Fox News Radio.
For more than 40 years, we've managed our island's most precious resource, your health. Take Care's benefit plans allow members access to more than 120 medical providers, 40 dental providers, and 18 pharmacies in the region. Take Care's health plans ensure members in Palau, Saipan, and Guam receive the care they deserve. Our programs and wellness classes have proven results for our valued members, and our commitment to your health never been stronger. Take Care. Our island, your health plan. At Micronesia Renewable Energy, values matter. So all of their solar energy systems come with guarantees and the most value. No shortcuts, all quality. It's giving you that solar energy system at the best price. It's using highly efficient solar panels with typhoon-proven racking, built by highly skilled local technicians, so your system performs and saves you money. It's total peace of mind all the time. Not all solar companies are created equal. For experienced quality solar, it's MRE. Call 632-2613. MRE, the smarter choice.
The Coconut Wireless is back. Watch and listen live on thepoint.gu.
What happened? I think I freaked somebody out. I picked up the phone on my side because Mike was busy pushing buttons on the other side. I said, hi, thanks for calling The Point. Ray here. And I think somebody freaked out like, am I supposed to go on the air with you? Yeah, we'll call back, 888-8255. Hi, my name is Ray. Welcome to the program. Excuse the mess, 888-8255. If there is still conversation in your head that you think we might need to be able to get through here this morning. And bunch of other topics that I barely scratched the surface, unfortunately, on a ton of things that we need to get to. My thing is, I don't know, you got to press a button or I got to reset a computer. So who's there? Who is it?
Is Ms. Isa Baza.
Oh, from the Department of Education. Mm-hmm. Hey, good morning, Isa. How you doing?
Hey, good morning. How are you?
I'm okay. This is not a great cell phone connection, so if you're deep in a building, try to find a window or go outside.
Okay.
That'll help. Are you on Bluetooth? Is this Bluetooth? Am I on a speakerphone?
Yes.
There you go. Undo the speakerphone, and it's just me and you.
Okay.
So what you got?
I'm also here with Charlene and Matt.
What are we gonna talk about?
Our food survey.
Oh, the food survey. I talked about that the other day. I'm sorry, I might have ruined it for you.
Okay.
I didn't mean to, but there is on the DOE website a food survey, and as far as I know, this is only affecting a certain number of schools, right? There seems to be some difference between a set of schools and another set of schools. So the surveys that I took, or the surveys that I talked about, were only going to be going to a handful of schools. So first, we'll start with that one. This food survey, who does it affect?
Actually, hi, this is Charlene Haddad on the phone.
Hi.
So the surveys are targeting all GDOE public schools. Well, that's 41 schools. We have 4 GDOE operated schools, which is DL Paris, JQ, San Miguel, Ordot Chalampago Elementary, and Uguru High School.
Okay.
The rest are food service contractors.
So we just want to find out about the food survey or the food preferences of the GDOE schools, or will the responses apply to the DEXO, right?
Both, actually, because we have 2 different types of surveys for the schools. We have different responses based on what survey they filled out.
Okay, let me just do a quick Google and see if I can get this on the screen so I can see it and so our listeners can see it as well. Basically, now, why are we doing this? Is there an opportunity now to go through and review and then renew all of the foods that are served in schools?
Oh, hi, Ray. This is Matt.
Hey, Matt.
Hi. Just as a brief overview about the whole program, and then I'll kind of go into our main goals and why we're doing this. So, DOE operates the National School Lunch and Breakfast Program, which is a federal reimbursement program under USDA.
Okay.
And one of the main goals is to provide nutritious meals to the students, but at the same time, we want to make sure it's also appealing to the students. So that's why we wanted to do this survey to see what the students would prefer, and then how else we could improve the program. So that's why we wanted to do this online survey.
Okay, and so all of the kids want pizza and chips and soda for lunch, right?
Well, that's always a kid-friendly food item, you call it. But if you do see a pizza or a burger in the breakfast or lunch program, it is healthier versions than that you would see at a movie theater or anywhere else.
Okay, because the nutrition is a big deal. But one of the things that I'm sure you guys found as well over the years is the more nutritious and nutrient and vitamin packed the meals were, the more the kids were going, the portions are too small and it doesn't taste good and yada yada yada. So they're going to want things that are appealing to kids in their own age group. So is the survey complete, Matt?
Actually, it is not. Actually, I'm going to let Shar talk about a little bit about the survey.
Sure. Yeah, because I want to say, when did we do that? Monday, or was it Friday that we went through this on the air? It was Monday. We went through this on the air, and we talked about all of the different things, and I was, heck, if they'd have had that kind of food when I was going to school, I would have eaten the luncheon every day. Especially if it's free. So, but it's still an ongoing survey, right? Oh no, we lost him. Okay, you got to call back, and we'll get the answers on that in a second. I think maybe they went a little too deep into the building and lost the cell connection. Try a landline. Landlines always work better. 888-8255. I don't have the survey in front of me. You can find it at the GDOE website and take it on your own. You don't necessarily have to be a student or have to be a parent of a kid in a school, but it'll be interesting. As we talk about the way they're making some of these changes and trying to make it so that, frankly, that we're not throwing so much food away. And then the other part of it is I think maybe also the idea that, golly, there's a whole lot of people in the social media that the kids now with their cell phones at school with the cameras in them will take a picture of the food and send it to the parents, and the parents are on social media and say, look at the junk they're feeding our kids. So now they want to try to find a way to make it better. So go and take the survey and see what it's got to say over on that place. While I'm waiting for them to call back, or a swap in the subject, I think today's going to be the last day that I leave this up. I've got the required number of survey responses on our poll at thepoint.gu, where we ask who is not getting reelected into the legislature. So I'm going to print it out and hold on to this a little bit later on and see if your predictions come true when it comes time for the actual election. Based on the survey that we took today, and several hundred responses on this, and we know about the IPs where it's from, and we're pretty sure that that we're not getting a whole lot of duplicates, and there aren't a whole lot of people going click, click, click all over the place. The senators who are not going to get reelected into the legislature at number 1, Talena Nelson with 32.34. At number 2, Regine Bisco-Lee at 26.36, and Luis Muñoz at 16.58. I don't know that, not going to say that Jim Espaldon and Tommy Morrison and Will Castro and Mary Torres, Joe S. and the vice speaker are in great shape, but at least they're not 1, 2, and 3 on the survey is the point. More poll points you get on this, it's worse for your potential as a returning member to the 35th Guam legislature. What's the next poll question going to be? I'm going to put it up, and then I'll tell you. Because if I just tell you, I'll forget to put it up, and then it'll be on somebody else's website. So going back to the survey at GDOE, and I'm not sure which of the 3 people I'll be talking to next, but where we left off was the survey is ongoing. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. So the survey is happening from now until April 8th. And so we encourage everyone in the community to jump on and take the survey. It's on gdoe.net. You can find it on the left-hand side under school meal survey.
Now, as I said, I've done this. It's not going to take you a whole lot of time, and it's pretty basic. It'll ask you about, what your preferences are going to be. It'll throw out some food items that the kids might be enjoying, and they get to say whether they like it a lot or they like it a little or it's just so-so. Or my favorite one, I tried it, never feed me that again, I think is one of the responses. I never want to see it again. I'm so glad that you guys put that in there. I thought that was a stroke of brilliance. Yeah, it's a liver and onions. No, I don't want liver and onions. I don't ever want to see liver and onions on the menu. I don't care how good it is for me. I'm not going to eat it, and it will end up in the trash. And that's one of the things, as I was saying, we're trying to avoid is to actually get the kids to eat the food and not just take it and eat the sweet stuff on there or the cheese parts on there and then throw the rest of it away. We want them to get the whole meal, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. I forget, did we ask about drinks on this?
Not yet.
Is that going to be coming up, do you suppose?
No. Actually,
No, the only beverage items that we did survey, and this was a survey before, was on the milk. What types of flavors that they prefer, strawberry, chocolate, or just the regular 2% white milk. And of course, they do like their flavored milk, but we do offer all choices, during the lunch program.
I got you. Now, are we still at a place, and forgive me because it's been a while since I've had a conversation like this, are we still at a place where the kids can only eat food that is prepared for them at the school? If I wanted to send my daughter to school with a lunch bag with leftovers from last night, would that be okay?
Yes, that's fine. There's no requirements for bringing leftovers for lunch.
Okay.
Yes, but there is some schools have policies on bringing snacks, unhealthy snacks to schools. So it all depends on the school, though.
I see that. So that's not something that's ruled at the front office, and they have to comply with everywhere else. So depending on what school I go to, will determine whether or not that I can give my kids kettle potato chips with 4-pack of Reese's.
Actually, there is a district-wide policy, but some schools have more even can implement more stringent policy.
Right, right. Just put a list of those schools so I don't send my kids there. Because I really think the kids every once in a while will need a break from quote cafeteria food unquote. And if they enjoyed dinner last night that I cooked for them, well, maybe we'll send them over to the school with some leftovers. And if I've got a spare soda can in the refrigerator, then they ought to be able to go to school with that. Have things changed so much that I couldn't, as a parent, do that? And I guess it all depends on which school we're talking about, huh?
Yes.
Okay. Well, it's a sad, unfortunate tally on the times that we are living in, and bake sales and that kind of and fundraisers are definitely out of the question, right?
Someone go ahead.
As far as the surveys go?
No, I'm just as in general conversation. You know, if I wanted to have a fundraiser, or if the teachers wanted to have a fundraiser, or the kids wanted to raise funds, it used to be we'd have little bake sales, and they'd be able to sell some food in the hallways. Is that allowed?
Actually, there is a district-wide policy. It's actually a USDA policy as well at the national level. Right. It's called the Smart Snacks policy. And it's dealing with any food that's sold within the school campus or within the school day. It has to meet nutrition requirements, and that's if it's sold. If it's just if there's like a potluck, or if it's not being sold, if it's just being brought just for a gathering or a party, then it doesn't have to meet the nutrition requirements. But at the same time, there is some schools that have more stringent policies.
Right. So if you got a principal with hang-ups, the chances that she's going to let you, even for free, bring in the plate of Rice Krispies and marshmallows, which is so good and good for you, isn't it? I mean, that's got to be right there at the top of the food pyramid. All right, I got you. So until the 8th, because I know what this call is for. This call is to get people, as many people as possible, to get to the GDOE website, and it's easy to find. It's just gdoe.org, right? Or gov?
Yes. GDOE.net.
.net, GDOE.net, and I've seen it's over on the left-hand side, food survey, and take that. Even if you don't have kids in the system, just put yourself in the position. We're not all that old, and try to remember what some of your favorites are and some of the things that you'd like to see. And chances are some of the kids would like to see it as well. If it gets us close to be able to provide delicious and nutritious meals to the kids, as opposed to delicious or nutritious, then that's something that they can continue to work on. When do you suppose we'll see the fruits of the survey? So once you've got all the information, you've conducted your analysis, when will you be making the adjustments to the menus in the school?
Actually, as soon as possible. We're looking at towards the end of the school year, maybe within the month. We should have a proposed menu, and then we could always do a public announcement on the menu or the results of the survey and how the menu has changed from the survey.
Now, with the Trump tax cuts, and this is shifting gear just a little bit, has that made any changes, or has it put the nutrition programs under any kind of pressure? Do you have all of the money that you need to be able to continue to have the food made and delivered and served to the kids?
Yes.
Yes, it has put some pressure on the system?
At this time, all of our services are continuing, so there hasn't been any effect to the food services program at this time.
Okay. But down the road, I understand that there are going to be some changes and some cuts made, maybe government-wide, not here on Guam, but in some of the grants and the endowments that are going out from places like the Department of Agriculture. So I'm wondering if there are going to be if there is any anticipated pressure on being able to prepare and deliver and serve the food.
No, not at this time. Actually, there's a lot of supplemental grants, federal grants, that we could apply for usually. But I know from what's going on with the federal government, a lot of those have been postponed, or the funding has been limited.
Okay.
But it has not affected our operations.
So here's something that I might want to ask of you. No, in fact, I do want to ask of you. I don't know how difficult it would be, and I'd be happy to pay for it. But I was wondering if it would be possible for my producer, Michael Knight, to be able to sample, a breakfast or snack or a lunch that we would normally serve to some of the students in the schools. Could you bring it by the radio station and let Mike try it? And if he lives, then I'll have some too.
Yeah, because if Mikey likes it, everyone's going to like it.
That's exactly my point. Would something like that be possible? I got the cameras in here, so there's no reason why, show the meals that we're going to be preparing for the kids, right?
Yeah. Okay. Well, if he could go to the schools.
Oh, you want us to go to the schools?
Bring it over there, but.
Come on, Issa. You're an old reporter. You know about how this stuff works. Bring it.
We could coordinate. With Issa, of course. Issa could do that. But as far as the schools, maybe he could try one from a GDOE operated and one from a food service contract.
Yeah. Yes, it's supposed to be delicious and nutritious. And look, if I like it, and I'm a garbage gut snack eating guy, and if I like it, then the kids are going to like it. Okay.
Okay.
So I'll make you that deal. Hey, whenever you got something big going on, let me know. I'm very, very interested in all of these programs, and I like the idea that a big chunk of the money is coming from Uncle Fed. I wish that we weren't in a position where the Department of Education sometimes feels like if the kids don't eat at school, they're not going to eat at all. But unfortunately, that is a fact of life here on Guam. So I'm glad that you guys are chipping away at that and adding flavor to your responsibilities.
Thank you. And I just want to mention while I have you here on the phone, I just want to recognize Ordat Chalampago Elementary School. Just about a few weeks ago, they were recognized by the National School Breakfast Program for improving their breakfast meal quality. And so they won the Boosting Breakfast Meal Quality Award out of all of these schools that applied from Alaska, Arizona, California, Guam, Hawaii, Idaho, and many other states. So I just want to shout out to Ordat Chalampago Elementary School for all the work that they're doing to improve their breakfast and lunch programs.
That is a big deal. So nationwide competition, and Little Ordat Chalampago got it?
It's a regional competition, so it's a Western region competition.
I see. Still. I mean, think about everybody that we were in competition with that you just named. So I'm proud of those guys. Good for them. Well, you got any more of those home runs? I want to be able to add that to the pile of good news that we talk about here.
All right. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome so much. You're welcome so much. I'll take a look at the survey again on the 8th. If I go to the link, I should be able to see the results on that, right?
I think the survey ends on the 8th, and then they'll be compiling the results, and those will be released later.
Okay, well, it's Google Forms, so it self-compiles. That's the good thing about using that. Okay, I'm going to let you go. I'll be looking for the results on that, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And don't forget about the offer to bring cafeteria food to the radio station and feed Mike. That ought to be our thing. Because I work. Mike is new here. I mean, relatively new on Guam. What's it, a year and a half, something like that since you got here?
A little over a year now. Yeah.
Okay, so a little bit over a year. You don't have any family around here other than the blokes at the radio station. So I worry that if we don't feed you, if I don't see you eating here, I worry that you're not going to eat. So anybody, we get into conversations with restaurants and school cafeterias and things. I'm always going to try to remember to ask for some chow for you.
Nice. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, because the package.
And then if it sucks, then I don't have to eat it.
Yeah, but that's a good way. I'm the quality control guy here.
Yeah, why not? What did Napoleon have a guy like that? Where here, you eat this. Test it for poison. Is it good? Do you like it? Yeah. Does it taste like butt? Okay, no, I don't want to eat that then. 9:26 in the morning. This is the Ray Gibson Show on the Point. Oh, I still got to change the question. Remind me when we go into the break to change the question. Speaking of school food, this does not qualify as cafeteria lady stuff. I mentioned it earlier today, and I want to make sure that you know that this is happening. GCC has a number of wonderful academic events that are going on this week. Sexual Assault Awareness Proclamation. They're going to do that today. The Accommodative Services Dialogue. I don't know what the heck that is. It sounds important. The Reach for College information session. But the important thing that is going to be taking place at Guam Community College this week is Thursday the 5th. They will have the culinary arts Japanese buffet. And I've been a part of this, and Chef Paul Kerner's there, and Chef Bertrand is there, and there are student chefs that they've got in the mix, and not one of them is Japanese, but you could not tell by eating the food.
Nice.
It's all tasty, it's all traditional, and it's cheap. It's $10. It's this. I'll say it, $10 for a Japanese buffet, and all you got to do is go to GCC. Now they don't have a bar. It's not, and that would make it perfect.
That would.
That would make, because you get the culinary arts guys, and don't we still have bartending classes at the community college?
I would think so.
So it would. Why would we not get the two of them together? It's after 9 o'clock in the morning. You can sell beer and wines and spirits and things like that, and you could make that. You could make that a. You could charge a whole nother $1 for an open bar, right? So it's $10 all you can eat. Add another $1 for an open bar. Just saying. When it's time to redo this program, Mary Okada, you come and see me, and I'll put you in the right direction. So Japanese is this Thursday. Chinese is next Thursday, followed by Korean, followed by Thai/Vietnamese before the end of the month. So every Thursday they're going to be doing something. Do I have a menu? Yes, I do. Assorted sushi, vegetable tempura, fresh salad with homemade sesame dressing. Is it mouth-watering yet? Miso soup, ramen, and yakisoba.
You had me at tempura.
But wait, there's more. Vegetable curry, teriyaki chicken, fish doria, and steamed white rice. Sticky, fat, starchy rice. And for dessert, we have Japanese cheesecake mocha with red bean. Oh, mocha. Oh, mocha. Sorry, read that wrong. Mocha with red bean filling. Matcha crepes, water, iced green tea for you. Right? $10 GCC Thursday at 11 o'clock. Get there early because the place is it's going to jam-pack. I guarantee it. Another on the pile of the good news things. See if we can find Josh in the next hour and talk, or in the next half hour.
Actually, he's under the weather.
How did he send out the email then if he's sick?
Well, I guess it's pushing the button, but he sounded horrible. I don't even think you would want him on the radio station today.
Was it that bad?
It was really bad.
All right. Well, he's got until Thursday to get better. GVB has got the Tumon-based streetlight rehabilitation project, and Thursday, April the 5th at 6:30, they'll have the Flip the Switch ceremony, which is going to, I guess, turn on some streetlights that have been rehabilitated in Tumon. I'm down in Tumon for, I don't know, an hour and 15 minutes, pretty much every day, because that's my training route for the Hoffa Marathon. And I don't know what they're talking about here. I haven't seen. What rehabilitation are we talking about? Is it?
I do know that at the end of last year, because working over there, and they were actually replacing a lot of the lights through there. So,
but they're not changing out the poles or anything, right?
No, they did. Yeah.
Oh, they did.
Oh, they absolutely did. Yeah.
So the poles and the
lights and everything. Yeah, I mean they had the things uprooted out of the ground and open wires showing and.
I don't know about that. That's the problem. Is I'm looking down because I'm running, right? So I'm looking to make sure I don't trip over a tourist or knock down a little Korean kid. So that's probably why I'm not looking up to see what they're doing with the actual street lights. Now looking down, it's a totally different view. If you look down, you know what you see? Steel. You see a lot of steel because they're doing something. The rehabilitation of the sewage and the drainage down there, which is one of the things that they got flood mitigation, and that's actually a GITA project. And the reason is because we haven't seen it yet this year. I don't think. I don't think we've seen it this year where the rains have come in so bad that it puts the sandcastle basically underwater.
Yeah, that did happen late last year. Around November, I think we had a surprise storm pop up.
Right. And I'm trying to remember. In fact, I'm almost positive I had to drive through that to get to the Hyatt one night. And it was bad. It was coming down in pretty big. So what they've got to do is to go through and make sure that all of the drains now are clean, so that the majority of that water can get down to the ponding basin, which is behind the police Koban over there. Now, whether or not that works out, because there's only so much water that can go in that ponding basin that they've got down there, and they tell me that it might be near its capacity now. But we'll watch. The alternative to that, which is a fight that we got into a couple of years ago, was that they were going to take all of that additional runoff that they would get and have it go right out into Tumon Bay.
Yeah, not good.
And
yeah.
and I'm not an environmentalist in any stretch of your imagination, but even I knew that might be the dumbest idea I'd ever heard. And so we brought in they brought in guys from what's the name of that hippie environmental group, the Sierra Club.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, they brought in those guys to come in and get membership and make testimony and things like that. So they've had to work on a couple of other alternatives. The most expensive alternative, which is the one that sort of made the most sense in my mind, was that they would catch all of the water and then pump it like sewage. And they would pump it up to a treatment plant somewhere, or someplace. There's a old rock quarry above where the Hilton is in the backside. I'm sure you've seen it. And we would just take all of the water that we collect up there, and we'd run it through a GWA pipe with a GWA pump on one end, and have it go and fill the quarry.
There you go.
As time goes by, but as I said, not the cheapest of the plans moving forward. So they didn't end up going on with that. It's 9:33 already. For heaven's sakes, just yak until I'm out of breath. All right, let me take this break. When we return, the new online poll, maybe. iConnect time in the studio, 9:33. iConnect will help you converse and talk and communicate longer for less with their incredible push-to-talk and mobile plans.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. I'm Kim Anderson of Chalampago, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voices of our community and sharing thoughts about issues that affect all of us. It all boils down to our people and our land. Protehi Itunomo, protect your land. When it comes to your family land, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
I'm supposed to read something else here today? Which one is it? Do you remember? Well, that break wasn't long enough. How am I supposed to? I'm supposed to go to the poll place and put in answers? You gave me 30 seconds.
But you're a runner. You caught your breath.
Barely. Barely. Okay, I may have to do this in real time. I may have to do this while we're talking. So as I said, the online poll right now says Talena Nelson, Regine Lee, and Luis Muñoz are in big trouble with at least the voters there, and may not be asked back to the dance in the 35th Guam legislature. But there's still time, guys. There's still whatever it is that you figure you got to do for redemption here, then get it done. Otherwise, the reason why I did this is because there's a lot of people that are looking at the folks that are not running for re-election or running for a different office or just not running, period, at the 34th Guam legislature. And there's a lot of people, golly, I was looking over the list of folks that have gone to pick up packets. And so there's a lot of people that think, in any other given election year, I wouldn't stand a chance. But with all of these potential vacancies at the legislature and the people that are sticking around maybe not being the most popular of all time, maybe I've got a chance. And so that's why I'm asking the question. You're welcome to join at thepoint.gu on the World Wide Web. I will give you a new question. And in fact, the first vote is going to be from Doris Forrest Brooks. How's that?
Hello, Ray. How are you?
I'm doing okay. You sound like you got a little bit of a cold.
I've been trying to fight it off, taking that airborne, hopefully.
Oh, yeah. I think the thing is you're supposed to take the airborne before you get sick. It's prophylactic that way.
You get it at the onslaught.
Is it helping at all?
A little, yeah. The other day was worse, so not too bad. But thank you for asking.
Yeah, in the very least, it tastes good. So,
yes, it does.
It doesn't. You remember when I was going to say when we were kids, we used to have a drink before sodas became prevalent. We used to have a Fizzy Quick. Do you remember that?
No, I remember castor oil from my mother.
Oh, good Lord! Oh, that's child abuse. Oh, my mother never did that.
No, my mother did.
No.
And people don't remember castor oil anymore.
Oh my! No. The other one, my grandmother did this when we got sick, and some people absolutely swear by it. The second, and I never told my grandmother when I wasn't feeling good because it scared the hell out of me. The second that we would display any kind of symptoms whatsoever, cuts, bruises, runny noses, any of that, she would take Vicks and slather it everywhere, up in the nose and in the ears.
Yes, my mother did the same. Oh, that's another one. Yes, I forgot about this. Thank you for reminding me.
What a great memory, huh? No, don't put that in my nose, Grandma. It's going to burn. It's burning. No, not the eyes. What a thing. So the reason why I talked to Beej a little bit ago, we were talking about the big SES meeting that took place yesterday over at the legislature. And unfortunately, I was kind of in a hurry when I was talking to BJ, and I might have cut him off before we got to the punchline on some reimbursements that we could be missing out on. What is it? We need $90 million to get our hands on $100 million. This Medicaid reimbursement money?
Yes, that's it's called. That's the acronym for the Obama Affordable Care Act.
Mm-hmm.
And actually Guam, and I have misplaced my iPad, so I don't have all the figures, but in the last, when the Affordable Care Act was passed, Guam got around $200 and some million. And we were given a time frame, and the money will expire in 2019, and so we're now slightly behind at the rate that we've been averaging.
Mm-hmm.
So we have this year and next year, and we've been averaging more like $35 million a year. So that means we need to beef up our average to more like $50 million a year in order to be able to finish the ACA.
Okay, so as I said to BJ, that sounds like us kind of wishing we were a foot taller here. Where are we going to find the money for that?
Yes. Well, like I said, we've been averaging $35 million, so we have to come to the table with $15 million more on top of everything else.
Yes. And so
on top of everything else.
I thought BJ would had an interesting idea here, and maybe we could use some of the money that we get from the amnesty that we haven't pushed the button on yet. I wish that was your decision, and then we could take some of the dough that we get from that and then pile that in with the 35 that we might still have access to, and get close to being able to get better than our share on the reimbursement this year.
Well, Ray, since I have you, and speaking of amnesty, I was this way from sharing a story, a personal story of mine, and if I could do this.
Sure.
I'm in the process of I remodeled my father's house down in Inarahan,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm trying to rent it out now. So I was going around to clear my to get my business license. When I went to the Real Property Tax Division, I found out, and they did a search, I found out that my father owed since 1991, 38 cents. 38 cents was still on the books. And so by the time they assessed a $10 penalty for this, and $1, interest was only $1 over the 25 years, okay, since this happened. So I end up paying on them 38 cents, $14 and change, okay. So, and we are doing an audit on the real property tax code, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to the lady, you know, my father he's always been paying. We've never known that we owed 38 cents. I'm surprised that your record even keeps 38 cents. You know, and knowing that the government has a cap, I said, okay, $15, hey, I won't go and get coffee 3 times.
Yeah.
Type of thing. But the idea is 38 cents in their record keeping. But they don't, you know, and so now we're going to change because I had my staff, here's my bill, see if you can find it on the ledger, on the accounts receivable ledger that is supposed to show all the outstanding amounts owed on real property tax.
Right.
They could not find it on the ledger that they gave to us.
So, but it was in one system, but it wasn't in another?
Correct. And what we're finding is that they have 2 systems. So in addition to the fact that DOA and DRT systems do not talk to each other, the systems within DRT do not talk to each other.
It gets worse every time we have the conversation. And so I was talking with Benita Manglona from the hospital the other day, and they got their hand out for $20 million. I didn't say no fast enough, so she thinks that I'm going to advocate for it. So I will. I think they need a new kind of hospital hardware, software in the cloud system, so that they can get out of that workflow process.
Yeah. We first need to analyze what it is you want, you need, and then figure it out, because we don't want to be like the Guam Solid Waste and get a roll of a system. We just want a Toyota. We don't need a Rolls-Royce of a system.
Well, you can start with the basic model, and maybe we'll we'll use it this way. We'll start with the RAV4, and then we will add to it until we're driving a Lexus 330. How's that?
That's right.
We can do that over time.
Get a Rolls Royce and then come back.
Right. So something basic. And I said, the smart thing would be able to get a system and then systems that would integrate, so that what we're doing at Guam Memorial Hospital, when we have a client, a patient that does not pay, you say, all right, you're not paying, and so I'm going to electronically, it's in the record already that you haven't paid, and then it would go to the ledger over at the Department of Revenue and Taxation, so that when it gets to be tax refund time, this patient doesn't see the refund, because it's already going to be rebated back to the Guam Memorial Hospital, so that at least a portion of that debt can be covered.
Well, they have been doing that over the years, Ray. How, if a couple slip through, I don't really know all the details. I remember when the first.
But I guarantee it's a manual system. I guarantee it's a manual system. Somebody's got to put everything in by hand.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. Yeah, we are still in the dark ages when it comes to IT technology. We are still in the manual era. I agree, and that's the sad part. And this is where I think over time we have been a little bit of penny wise and pound foolish.
Yeah, one of these days, and all of the other, that kind of climbs in with all of the other findings that we've got. And thoughts on amnesty? We need to get that going, don't we?
Well, I've been silent about that. I can understand the pros and the cons. That's a policy call. I don't have enough information to see it, how effective it is. But I can appreciate both sides of the story, and I'm not neither for or against.
Mm-hmm.
That's a policy call, and until I gather more information to say push it, I'm not going to say. And that's really a DRT's call, because they know better the situation. And he is right. There is the offer and compromise situation, and clients who later on become aware of it, and that is a form of amnesty, the offer and compromise, and that's already on the books.
Right. But in this case, it would save us the whole problem of trying to, put together a big, massive enforcement branch. And I got to share this with you, because it struck me as almost irresponsible. There's a story on page 8 on today's Guam Daily Post, and Augustin I's changes to the cockpit license statute. And he's talking about taking these guys and giving them more time as members of their board, maybe more authority on the board, and then moving forward addressing safety requirements and fiscal and taxation issues as they relate to operations. A quote here: a DRT employee can be stationed at the cockpit sites to make sure that they can monitor the movement of funds, because there's a lot of money in this, St. Augustine said. My question to you, Doris, is why don't we already have this?
I'm not going to venture out. Just knowing the situation, what we've seen in the gaming and what's coming in the gaming tax is so small, less than a couple of $1 million a year. It's pitiful. It's pitiful. Okay, and we're doing an audit right now just on bingo. And already my eyes are bugging out on the lack of compliance.
It's amazing, isn't it? So we've got all of these bingo houses, but there's nobody there from DRT that is watching the money get won or lost.
That's right. Yeah.
And so the same thing in the cockpits. We used to have somebody at the Greyhound. Why would we enforce that on the Chinese and not our own folks?
I don't know, but another area also, when we did the last audit on the the electronic gaming, right? Very few of any of the winnings were reported on the 1099.
Of course not.
Another slippage.
Of course it wasn't.
Yeah, because I remember a friend of mine telling me when she went on a cruise, okay, and she won $200, okay, right there and then. Okay, right there and then, they gave her money and asked her for her Social Security and gave her a 1099 right on the spot.
Wouldn't it be better if they actually collected the money right there on the spot? So give me your Social Security number and here's
or whatever.
Yeah.
And there are gradations, but I'm using only 200. But we've seen, in the paper 5,000, 10,000 amounts.
Yes.
Yeah. Why aren't they taking the money up front? Because up to a certain point, you don't have to take the money, but over a certain point, you should take the money. And that's where I'm talking about. It's things like that. If someone wins the $10,000 bingo, right off the spot, they should take 30%, and get your Social Security number, your 1099, and show that money has been withheld.
The Pangasinan Bingo has an offer for today. Their FOPOG special, cover all, and that means that you cover all of the places on your bingo card. If you can do that with 50 numbers or less, and there's some mathematics that are involved. 50 is difficult to do. 51, 52, 53, a little bit more likely. But if you can do it 50 numbers or less, $25,000.
And see, we should get at least 20% or something.
Yeah, but who's going to be there? It's going to be at the ASPAC Industrial Park tonight. So who's going to be there in case there's a winner?
Well, the responsibility falls on the entity, and this is where the lack of follow-up, lack of compliance happens.
I would have the tax commissioner go and spend some time there. Okay, so listen. I know how busy you are, and doing you and Yuka very busy over there. It's always a play now, and I'm going to push the button on the online poll and change it out today. And I want you to give me the first vote. Okay.
What is the poll?
The poll question today is: who was the best elected governor of Guam? And I have choices for you. Ricky Berdallo, Eddie Calvo, Carlos Camacho, Joe Ada, Felix Camacho, Carl Gutierrez, or Paul Calvo?
Wow. That's going to be because there are people today who weren't even born when some of those governors were in office.
It's on thepoint.gu. I'm assuming that everybody there is at least old enough to remember golly, it would be Ricky, wouldn't it, after Carl?
Well, Ricky served twice.
That's right. So they'd remember both of the Ricky terms. So are you going to take? So you're taking a pass on this, huh? I see what you're doing.
I'll follow the result.
Give Jim a hug for me, would you? I'll see you pretty soon.
All right. Good. Have a good day.
I will. Doris Flores Brooks, the public auditor, and just chasing around a couple of things from the SES that we had there yesterday. Golly, Dorothy, click your heels together. That's all you ever needed to do. There's money there. There's amnesty money there. There's all this money that's going around. We shut down the casino thing over at the Carnival because we couldn't keep track of any of the money coming in and going out. Okay, well, did any of that cause another effect elsewhere in the system? Did any of that mean that we were going to spend more time on all of the game rooms that we have here, on the bingo parlors and the cockfights? No. As Joe is saying, a DRT employee can be stationed at the cockpit sites to make sure they can monitor the movement of money. They should have been doing that in the 60s.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about $67 million we're trying to recover here. I think it would be worth the time and effort to have a DRT guy at all these spots and collect.
Yeah,
every little bit helps.
Somebody is suggesting that I sit outside a game room. I can be the revenue agent as the winners start doling out their share. I could get it from them right there. Right? Yeah. I'd have to be the armed revenue agent. That's the thing. Is people are going to go, well, what do you mean I got to pay tax on this? I just won $100. That's my money. I'm going to go and pretend to pay the mortgage with it. So I don't know.
70 of that is your money.
The rest is mine. It's the government of Guam's, and it seems to me we need to close up. I'm with all the guys. Forget about these new taxes. I was delighted to hear BJ this morning say that we might not be able to do what we need to do with his real property and his sin taxes, just because we just don't have the capabilities built into our fiscal infrastructure to be able to take care of that. That's good news. Good news. So that's the online poll question as we are today. And I already gave you the last of the results. And let me just refresh on this so that I can read it to you. And you can begin to go to our website now, point.gu. The question online today, who was the best elected governor of Guam? Was it Ricky Bradallo, Eddie Calvo, Carlos Camacho, who was the first elected governor of Guam, Joe Ada, Felix Camacho, who is the son of Carlos Camacho, and he got in there 2 terms, Carl T.C. Gutierrez, or Paul Calvo? And so far, because they listen religiously, I'm almost positive that this vote here for Carl Gutierrez may have actually come from the Gutierrez house. I gotta check the IP on this one. I can do that, by the way. We have access to those kinds of things. It's one of the securities that are built into this. So go to our website, thepoint.gu. I will turn on the comments feature so that you can leave a comment. The field will ask for your name and your email, but they're totally optional. You don't have to put it in there if you don't want to. If you want to, go right ahead and say, profess your undying love for some of these guys. And I tell you what, say what you want to politically about many of them, but I guarantee most of them were trailblazers one way or another. Some of them fighting the initial battles with the legislature to figure out, where the powers that are given by the Organic Act really are. And in some cases, you take Felix Camacho, I want to say, and in some cases, certainly Carl Gutierrez, where the powers of the governor lie vis-a-vis other new creations of the legislature, like an OPA, like an elected attorney general. Just a couple of thoughts, so think about that and go to the website. You can vote as many times as the system will let you. How's that? 9:52, quick break, be right back.
Chili's lunch combos for just $10. Start your lunch with your choice of a Bud Light, iced tea, or Coca-Cola. Plus, free bottomless chips with salsa. Then choose a variety of fresh entree options like our savory beef enchiladas, quesadilla explosion salad, or our Cajun chicken pasta. Experience fresh flavors in every bite with Chili's lunch combos for just $10. Available Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. At Chili's, fresh is happening now.
The stations of Choice Broadcasting are celebrating April 2018 as National Earth Month in the first ever Upcycle Mascot Showdown. We've invited the public elementary 5th grade classes to set the example and build their school mascots completely out of recyclable material. Come down to the Chamorro Village Festival Huts on April 21st from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. for upcycle-themed games, chances to win prizes from McDonald's of Guam, Pitbull Empire, and Sylvan Learning Center, and a special performance from Body Arts Dance Studio. Don't forget to stop by the Guam Girl Scouts booth to learn how you can make a cleaner, greener effort in your community. Support your school's mascot and be sure to vote for your favorite. Judges pick the first place winner. The public votes for the second place winner. Celebrate Earth Month with our students in the Upcycle Mascot Showdown. Brought to you by Leo Palace Resort Guam, Dr. Yang Dental, Denny's of Guam, Jams Media Productions, and The Point.
Okay, so maybe not on the collections of taxes, but definitely on fees. My friend Jennifer wrote to me this morning and said that if you go to Reverend Tax and want to be able to do like payroll deductions for something, they charge you for it. She says, I wanted to have taxes deducted from my check or whatever it was some kind of payment, and they charge $250 before they even start the process of that kind of deductions. What are some of the other comments on the online that I've got here? Brad says, looking at some of the numbers on the last poll, he says, yeah, get rid of them and don't replace them with candidates that are just as rotten. So I'll get around. I haven't done it yet. I was suggested by Bobby Shringy that I do a poll on the website where we ask about the new people that have picked up packets. And the problem is because that's all we're talking about. They've just picked up packets. They're not officially candidates yet. So when they officially become candidates, then I'll work on that. I'll see if I can get that. We were talking with Oyal over at the governor's office about the possibility of being able to get games of skill, games of chances back to the carnival, and frankly, it doesn't sound good. It sounds like they're going to go for maybe something a little more, I don't know, current, touchy-feely. So many creative ways, Lynn Vince says, to revamp the idea of a carnival 4-H animals fair at the Chamorro Village. Everybody likes seeing animals. Cooking contest, especially among the youth. Barbecue contest, okay. Themed miniature golf. Dog shows. Contests like that. See how successful the bully show was. Yeah, the bully. God, people love bully. They Bullies, tattoos, and vape are the big three things here these days. Endless great ideas. Fine, let's do that and do the games. You know, something for everybody. I can't imagine a carnival without some kind of a game. State fair, sure. But
never even heard of it.
Yeah, let's have something there. Who's on? Richard Mao, my old buddy Richard Mao, is the guy that opened the Hyatt years ago. But I'm not going to say how many because we are both handsome studs. I see him on Facebook all the time. Beck Salazar is there. Mark Mandiola's on. Carlos Roman is enjoying, what kind of night is it? The rainy evening in New York City. And we were talking about dog farts, and apparently he's got a small dog that can clear out a big room.
Nice.
Isn't that amazing? Yes, absolutely. And you just go, wow, we got to take this dog to the doctor.
Yeah,
What
are you feeding him?
Ate something that'd been dead for a long time. DJ Cure. Carlo is on. Tammy Godwin. Nice to hear you. And see you there. Jay Felicitas. Al... Pablo Regis Bejosona. Al Regis. I'm just going to use him that way. And Randy Smith is back. It's nice to see you guys on the stream and watching and listening. And for those of you that are getting off, off island, getting caught up on what we're doing here on Guam and how we're doing here on Guam. It's tricky times, but as usual, we're tough, resilient people. We'll get through it and toast ourselves with a cold one when we're done. A thought here. If you just can't get enough of Bob Klitsky, and he is like the lady now on the insurance commercials,
right?
Yeah. He said, don't touch that dial. I'm on all the channels. It's true, and so you might hear him with me in the morning over here, and you might hear him someplace else later in the day. He's always got an opinion about something, and we'll call in and tell you what it is. But he won't be doing it between noon and about 1 today because Bob Klitsky is going to be addressing the Rotary Club of Northern Guam. Oh, what's the name of this thing? Bob's Bag or something like that online? He's got a place at the repository of his editorial comments and his submissions to the legislature. He made a presentation to the legislature on the real property taxes, but on top of that, he was also asking about the part of the measure that BJ wants to excise, where we talk about not having to go to the public for approval on new taxes and increases and bonds. I'm not in favor of the idea. I think that you need to always have something there to remind the legislature and the governor who they work for. And without that language in there that they have to at least make a nod to when they're going to ignore it, I worry that that's not going to happen. He's got a better plan, and I'm sure he's going to talk about that today over at the Rotary Club. And since I got a feeling it's going to be a slow day, that will be a part of the television newscasts as well as the print news when we get around to doing it tomorrow. The music is playing, and that means I got to go. I mean, I don't have to go. I'm just, frankly, kind of out of stuff to talk about now. I don't know if I could do another hour. But, no, I'm not going to try. Fox News Live is coming up next on the other side of that. The amazing Brian Kilmeade, Rush Limbaugh at 1, and Sean Hannity coming up a little bit later on in the program. The right-wing flamethrowers are headed your way right here on KUSG, Gutnya, Guam. The radio station is known as The Point. My name is Ray Gibson for Michael Knight and Kevin Kerrigan. Thanks so much for listening. I'll catch you tomorrow morning at 6. Right now, the news.
A shooting at YouTube headquarters. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. It happened this afternoon at the company's corporate park in the San Francisco Bay Area. Police say a woman shot 4 people, then took her own life.
Initial reports said the shooter entered the back of the YouTube building and that shots were